Good evening. Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon, worldwide. This is the Titans. Wagwan Byron. Wagwan. Yeah, man.
There.
All right. Hey, tonight, people, tonight no good again, you know. Tonight no good again. Remember that's remind, you know. When them have thing the and dinners and thing tomorrow with Sir Mark Golding, right? We're offering out that declarator because last night very successful, very nice, right?
Yeah.
So that's tomorrow, and then Saturday we have eight. You know, we keep 80s 90s every year, same time. You know, first week of December, 80s 90s. You know that can't miss the people them. Cause Mama Angie pick up on a thing. But we're gonna start the Titans like this. Hear this. We hear Andrew Holness and them desperation run out and say, who remember the 70s and gone back to Manley. Although him said the other day about Manley the greatest thing. Him say Manley him say the 70s destroy Jamaica. And them fix back the place. Me don't know where him get that from. And then him said them fix back the place. See, I got me attack over 443 million. Him don't even pay some little things and them things. See, I got where betray Jamaica, you know. Him attack about, you know. And then Bruce them come and you see what going on. And then him come now from devastate the place. And the 18 and a half years change up the place. And him a run off him out, Byron. So, make us start this. I want to go back in the 70s because we are showing the documents. We have played the thing because we played it already. And now what them I tell we. That's what we have. And we have to show it tonight because Ronya says a university, yeah? Where you say, Byron?
What we have is empirical evidence. Empirical evidence. So we don't care what they want to say. We are going to highlight the empirical evidence tonight. So you understand, and educate, right? So that's what we are here for. We are the Titans. You understand? And remember, as we said, Wayne, you always get the source enough. And once you get the source, you're here to deliver. All right? So blessing.
All right, make us start. People, Titans. What time? About it. 1 a.m.
Start packing because you are going.
All right.
Holness, you finish it? You think a joke? Yes, like Titans. Like just said 2 minutes, you know, people.
All right.
2 minutes. I know I'm never late.
Yeah,
brother. Never late. So I'm said 2 minutes. Saying? All right. So make we draw back the people in mind to this because him touch the 70s. Now we're gonna start from Yasso, come up and rubbish him again. Yeah? Exactly. So we're going to detail. But we could play this. We could play this with them and then make them hear what I want. We could play this first.
Was born while Queen Victoria was still on the throne of England, are my guest this evening for some insights into the interdependence of the world we live in. For several months, I've been traveling to distant parts of the world, recording interviews and film reports with people who can add to our understanding of the forces that are shaping life on this planet. My interest in doing this series was partly spurred last fall, when the grown-up leaders of American Little League Baseball announced that henceforth their World Series would be limited strictly to American teams. They didn't say why, but the reason was pretty apparent. Teams from Taiwan and Japan had won 7 of the last 8 championships, and the grown-up leaders of the Little League Baseball organization decided that if you can't beat them, don't play them. So now the World Series of Little League is a closed shop, and the grown-up sponsors are assured that Americans will always come out first.
You see what America do this, sir? When them used to play and get beaten, them just keep it by themselves. Yeah, that them just say, you know, watch out.
The real world, of course, isn't like that. We're all affected by forces beyond our control and beyond our shores, and our survival isn't going to be played out merely among Americans. So in these programs, we've cast an ear toward men and women of other nations who have something to say about the new ball game, the real World Series in which the human race will win or lose together. Tonight, 2 views from abroad. This is Michael Manley, the Prime Minister of Jamaica. He leads a small island republic in the Caribbean. For 300 years, Jamaica was a colony of England and only gained its independence 13 years ago. Michael Manley's father was a leader in the independence movement and a former prime minister himself. While Jamaica is small and dependent on tourism and bauxite for the health of its economy, under Manley, the country has begun to assume a role of leadership in what is called the Third World, those largely non-white countries in the southern half of the globe that were once colonies and are now seeking their own path to national pride and economic growth. I talked with the Prime Minister on the terrace of his home in Jamaica. Why do you consider Jamaica part of the Third World?
Well, I think that the Third World is made up of countries that have shared a certain common historical experience, firstly, and secondly, who are aware of that fact.
What is that experience?
And that experience, of course, is well documented and talked about, and that is the problem of being part of that formerly colonial empire, which may have been British, may have been French, other parts of Europe, but where the whole of the development of the particular country was stamped by the fact of colonialism, with all that that implied in terms of economic development, becoming the great sort of producers of raw materials for the world, and suffering all the economic disadvantages of imbalanced economic development and political dependency. So I think if you have shared that experience and then have developed the capacity to see that for yourself and to see that it makes you a part of a historical problem, then you are, in fact, a member of the Third World. Jamaica has shared that experience, and I hope we are now aware of the fact.
You once wrote that all the newly independent territories have found themselves trapped in an economic dilemma. What kind of dilemma?
It is the dilemma that flows from being dependent on the production of certain kinds of basic materials, raw materials, particularly like we, for instance, are sugar. There are countries that are dependent on, say, producing cotton. There are all sorts of examples of it. And where, first of all, the prices that one commands historically for the export of those things do not move nearly as rapidly as the prices of all the manufactured goods that we, of course, have to import from the great centers like America, Britain, Europe, and the rest of it. And where, as a result, you're constantly transferring wealth from poorer countries to richer countries because
Me have to stop it there, son, because I want to show them some damning thing tonight, you know. But you hear what some man did say? Because when you buy from the great country, them, you know, the big country, them, no care what race pan you can't argue, you have to pay them. But when them say, pay a little more for the backside, just put on one little thing. The Europe and the great powers, them are war with Jamaica. And then turn it into something else. And then we get betrayed by Saga. Figure out power. Not same way Byron alive.
Exactly.
Yes, man.
Perfectly right.
That's right. Let me play this and hear where I say yes, sir.
you're paying is really taking more and more sugar to buy a tractor or an automobile or more and more bales of cotton.
How do you break out of that dilemma?
Well, I don't see any way out of it short of the development of strategies within what we call the framework of a new world economic order. What one really means by that is I think, two things. I think one implies something very important in the decision-making process. One is implying that historically, the great seats of economic power in the so-called metropolitan nations, by the sheer power of their economic influence, have dominated economic decision-making in the world, and have, as a consequence, been the beneficiaries of the decisions that are made to the detriment and harm of the so-called third world. But more specifically, I think what one really means, to get to the practical implications of it, is this. As long as a concept of free market forces determines the price element in world trade, you are going to get the problem of a tendency to buoyant manufactured goods prices as against stagnant staple prices. And therefore, you'll be trapped in the dilemma. So that until you can devise international institutions which can begin to negotiate the terms on which goods move from one country to another, you will forever be trapped in the dilemma.
Are the third world countries beginning to negotiate those institutions?
Oh, clearly. You see, I think that the recent agreement between the African, Caribbean, and Pacific countries, that's the 46 nations that have just made this very important new agreement with the European Economic Community. I think that that agreement is historic in its significance. Well, it does a number of things. It, for example, takes quite an important range of products that are vital to these 46 third world countries and guarantees certain kinds of price formulae for their goods, which begin to guarantee adequate returns.
Jamaica has always relied on foreign goods, foreign markets, foreign ideas, and foreign outlets for labor. Is that changing?
Obviously, one can't ever break out of any fundamental alignment of arrangements quickly. But what we are doing is, as rapidly as our human and financial resources permit, trying to produce for ourselves the things that we can, so as to cut down that degree of foreign dependence. We are also actively seeking opportunities to trade within the third world group, wherever they present themselves. All of which begins to do what we think is critical, which is to break the pattern of total dependence on the metropolitan nexus. You know the old problem about that if Washington sneezes, and I mean no disrespect to one of the world's great capitals, if Washington sneezes, everybody else catches a cold. Seems like a joke to an American, but is a very serious problem of health to everybody else.
Is that what meant, you think, by the term interdependence?
Well, that is one possible and unfavorable interpretation of the meaning of interdependence. But what we really are, we know perfectly well that nations can never be isolated. We understand this. But what we feel is that to be overly dependent on certain kinds of relationships is unhealthy. And really what we are trying to do is to build up the strongest possible internal base to our economy, which guarantees one kind of freedom of economic action, and then to spread as widely as possible the sort of net of external relationships. And that is why, for example, we are now working out an aluminum complex with Mexico. We think this is very important, that we should develop a whole new exploitation of bauxite mining and aluminum processing with Mexico as an alternative avenue and outlet for the resource from the traditional North American sources.
So much of Jamaica's economy is affected by decisions taken by multinational companies whose headquarters are in capitals a long way from here. How does the government of a small country protect its national interest against decisions made in distant capitals?
It is extremely difficult, and actually, I think more than anything else, this explains a phenomenon in the world today that is causing both misunderstanding and concern, particularly to metropolitan countries. I refer, for example, to what we have actively help to engineer in the world, which is known as the International Bauxite Association, which is a body that seeks to bring into alliance for the development of coherent policies all the major bauxite-producing countries of the world. Now, we do this because, faced with the problem of the multinational corporation, we find that each small individual country experiences the preemption a lot of the decision-making process. Very often, Pittsburgh may have a boardroom that is deciding the fate of thousands of Jamaicans, how a critical Jamaican resource should be deployed in the next 10, 15, or 20 years. That is obviously inconsistent with any concept of economic sovereignty. We find that to try to deal with a group of multinational corporations alone is a serious problem. It's very difficult for us. So that we see, therefore, the development of a thing like the International Bauxite Association as partly a necessary element in the attempt to get fair returns for a natural resource like bauxite, to make that an input into the development of a new economic order. We also find it very important as the part of a process by which we begin to retain within Jamaica the decision-making process over our own resources, because then you can lock together a number of small countries who have no hostile intentions against anybody. We are not trying to hold anybody to ransom over raw materials. We're not trying to starve out any country by the use of the raw materials as a weapon. We are trying to see that the exploitation of that raw material is carried out in a manner that brings the greatest possible benefit to our people and reflects our own sense of our own national priorities. We recently imposed a levy on our bauxite production in Jamaica. It had the effect of multiplying by 8 Jamaica's revenue from the exploitation of, I think, 15 million tons of bauxite a year. We're one of the biggest producers in the world. So where we were getting $25 million a year revenue for all of this bauxite, we're now getting $200 million a year. So this
You hear that, Byron? From 25 million to 2, it multiplied by 8. You hear that? Yeah, this.
Great stir. The effect of that bauxite levy was an increase of less than 2 cents a pound on the aluminum in the American market. Now that caused a fantastic furor that we were holding America up to ransom. There were congressional hearings about it for the sake of 1.5 cents at a time, if I may complete the analogy. At a time when we, a traditional customer for American wheat, paying full market price for the wheat, had watched wheat prices go from $67 a ton to $249 a ton. We had watched soya beans go from less than $100 a ton to something over $400 a ton. We had watched tractor prices go up by 40, 50, 60%. We were living and being throttled by this price behavior in the American market. And we not retaliated, we just negotiated a small riposte, the most gentle of ripostes, which added 1.5 cents a pound to a 31-cent article in America. And America regarded this as an absolute catastrophe, a confrontation and a challenge to her rights and authority in the world.
Take the example of bauxite. You're sitting on one of the richest deposits in the world, and yet most of it is controlled by outsiders. Have you ever considered expropriating the bauxite?
No. We have always believed that, that if we were going to nationalize a foreign corporation, that we would feel in honor bound to pay reasonable compensation for the asset that we took over. And I'm assuming that when you said expropriate, you mean to take over without compensation. No, that's absolutely contrary to our principles, contrary to our Constitution, and contrary to our law.
Do you think that we are in this modern world for increasing violence? Is violence a part of the world we're going to be living in?
I would fear so, and I think it will remain so to the extent that the world won't face the challenge of what I call total social engineering. I think that as long as you live in a world that is at least partially dominated by concepts of acquisitiveness, permissiveness, and all the rest of it, that sees society as some big sort of thing that is supposed to happen by accident. I know this is contrary to all the classic Western theology. I don't accept the Western theology any longer over this. I think that more and more you've got to see the world in terms of deliberate social engineering of security for babies, the daycare centers, the management of an economy that guarantees employment for everybody, that guarantees a reasonable distribution of wealth so that you don't have provocative extremities of wealth and poverty. And I think you've just got to engineer that world. And if you don't engineer that world, I think the acquisitive sort of freewheeling world inevitably is impelled towards violence by the inequities that it produces.
One last question. When we were walking into the patio, you said you thought this was an epochal period in the evolution of the human race. What did you mean by that?
Because I think you're watching one of the great transitional periods of history. One of the classic power hegemonies of history has reigned unchallenged. The metropolitan North has reigned unchallenged for, 150, 170 years, 200 years. And you are now watching in the emergence of the third world and its capacity to articulate itself as a group and its needs as a group, watching in the discovery of the bargaining power of oil and the OPEC group. You're watching in all of this one of these great transitional moments in history, would you not agree? When a power hegemony is being challenged, not to be necessarily replaced by another power hegemony, but certainly to create a reordering of the disposition of power in the world.
What would you say to an American who looks out upon a seething and turbulent world?
What would I say to him? Well, I think he would do well to remember what George III might have felt when he faced the uprising. Change happens and you get accustomed to it, and England in the end became a great friend and ally of America's. But there was challenge. This time there doesn't have to be a warlike challenge. And I think that the real key to a lot in the future of the world is to be found in the speed with which America, with its great capacity for adaptation, innovation, its pragmatic common sense, will just apply that common sense to a world that is in the throes of change, where that change can be immeasurably assisted if Americans will understand what they can contribute to it, rather than feel that it is their duty to fight it and resist it. This is what I would say. I really hope you'll help.
Michael Manley.
Yeah, this too. All right. So, we're going to show some things, yes or no. We want to show some things, because remember, CIA and the like, them never work the son of Iran. Because we want to some deeper things with them people, yeah. Because Saga did say right, so I'm say we just show that, we could just play an executive thing. Because the man are telling this.
The relationship with Cuba arises
partly
because Cuba is
more so to believe our view than the opposite view.
When you listen him good, and then we're going to some serious thing. Yeah.
Has now come more so to believe our view than the opposite view contended. That Manley's ultimate aim is to take Jamaica into the Cuban orbit and to transform the society into a Cuban-type society. They have, in fact, implemented many of the types of institutions that are necessary for the transformation.
What sort of thing?
Training programs. We have, for instance, some 1,000 Jamaican youths that have now been trained in Cuba under a program that has come to be known as the Brigadista program. Because the purpose of the program is to set up Marxist-Leninist brigades to return to Jamaica to indoctrinate the peasant people and the working class people.
The relationship with Cuba arises partly because Cuba is our closest neighbor, partly
All this was lies, Nobody never set up no indoctrination of no Leninist brigade, no communists in a country and them thing there, A lie, but we're going to show some details right now. Because Andrew Holness came back in the 70s with him full self. But when me hear man there say yes and never play this now, Byron.
Because Jamaica has always had a friendship that is traditional, really. With Cuba, it goes back into the 19th century. We find that we both share a deep commitment to the liberation process. We take a similar view of, Nicaragua. We take a similar view of South Africa. We took a similar view of Ian Smith.
Do you take a similar view of America?
No, I don't think we take a similar view of America. I think they have, of course, a very unusual and painful experience.
Do you think that your support of Dr. Castro in a certain number of his causes, that having Cubans here, has helped to antagonize the United States towards Jamaica?
Well, first of all, I've never supported Dr. Castro and his causes. I've discovered points where we have similar causes. We share causes. I don't support his causes, nor he mine for that matter. But that the relationship has contributed to and been the cause of strain with the United States, of that there is no question. It's a matter of principle.
Why did you do it?
Because it is a matter of principle. Because to me it is an absolute matter of principle, and it isn't negotiable, and it will never be, no matter what price is paid. It is not negotiable for me to believe that a small country has to determine its policy by reference to what some powerful neighbor feels.
Comrades, all I can say, the international community has been run by the big powers for hundreds of years, and where are we? Where are we?
Upsetting Jamaica's powerful neighbour seems to have been a Manley speciality. When he came to power in 1972, he moved into head-on conflict with the interests of American big business. Bauxite is big business. It's the raw material from which aluminium is made. It's only found in a handful of countries, and Jamaica has 2 billion tons of it. Before Manley came to power, the entire Jamaican bauxite industry was controlled by 6 North American companies. The country's greatest natural asset belonged to someone else. The Jamaicans received only a pittance in royalties, about $40 million a year. After they were elected, Manley's government began to negotiate with the bauxite companies, and after fierce resistance began to buy into the industry, mainly by compulsory purchase. 2 years later, Jamaica was paying for a 51% controlling interest, and her revenue from bauxite had gone up to $200 million a year.
That agreement creates a new and, we believe, historic partnership between the company and Jamaica.
He also formed the International Bauxite Association, a producers' cartel similar to OPEC in the oil industry. It was to ensure that poor countries got the maximum revenue from one of their few natural resources. But more significantly, it was the first time that Manley, using his socialist principles, went into action against American huge corporations and won.
Let's remember that wherever imperialism works, the people must unite to defeat it.
Don't forget, all right, Sir Mandy, don't move the word there. You hear when him say 40, but Mandy tell he says 25 million he used to get, not 40.
Yeah.
He might the news, but Mandy says 8 times. So him get 200 million, but it's really 25. Them gonna make it sound like him that get even little more. 25 million half of this every year. And the man push it 8-fold. 200 million. That's why we could have got school fee and free education and the board of them thing there. Now we want to show them something now where them never see. Because we have other things that you hear with the CIA work and them thing there. What we're going to do, we're going to start it, Byron. You have to take the first thing for read off some and them thing there. Now. Someone want to put up the first one and then see what we get with thing from, yeah?
Yeah.
Then we can put up the first one, yes, sir. Because this is how we do a thing around here, you know. So we could just put up the one, yes, sir, yeah? All right, we could put up the first one. We're going to some of the thing them people are showing us something right now. Right? All right. You can't see that one, the goodbye, man?
Yeah.
All right. We don't see it, people. What we do here is a different thing. We do here, say now. Government, yeah. All right. Watch out. Look. Go through, Byron.
Okay, so basically, this document is the 197 memorandum of for members of the Special Coordination Committee, right? Updated by Washington, right? And this is talking about a covert actions options for Jamaica. Now, as it relates to the bulletin point number 1, the initiative, this paper proposes a covert action program in Jamaica. It has been prepared by CIA as a means of countering Soviet and Cuban moves to gain control over Jamaican policies and to expand their influences in the Caribbean.
All right. So let me just move to same time. When you see what we are read people, because you see, when I just we want to say a different thing, you know. We want to so we can move to 2 and
Yeah.
run through something. And people make look out for some name pan this. What we say when they can make out some name pan them, we will show yeah. We look for some name pan this. So we can move to continue. See in line?
Yeah,
The man
man.
say, oh, mash up. We could just continue. Go through. You can't see it?
Yeah.
All right.
So, Kingston, May 16, 1978. Lie, you want to take this? Maybe I can break it down. You know, me read one.
Yeah. I'm going to go through with it now.
Good.
Yeah, Kingston, May 16, 1978. 4030 Forum Ambassador subject Saga assert assistant keeping Manley in power.
All right. So from the ambassador, you know, 1430,
right. Yeah.
You know what? From the ambassador. Subject Saga assert
assistant keeping Manley in
all
power.
Right. Watch this door, people. Look here. Go through.
Opposition leader Edward Saga sent his political confidant, Senator Ronald Irvin, to see me with a message this morning, May the 15th. Irvin said that Saga was urging that major bilateral aid donor temporarily suspended their assistance to Jamaica. Irvin went on to say that continued provision of aid would not be used effectively as long as Michael Manley remained in office, but would have the sole result of propping up the Prime Minister. What Jamaica need now, said Irvin on Siaga's behalf, is the removal of Michael Manley.
Oh.
Only then can any kind of credibility be restored to the government of Jamaica. Irvin subsequently said that he had already made Saga views known to the British High Commissioner.
Oh.
Wayne, go back to the top. Go back to the top of this. Yeah, yes. hold there. And let us put it back again so the people can understand. You understand as it relates to the 4030 from ambassador subject. Saga asserts assistance keeping Manley in power. What that mean wasn't that Saga was seeking assistance to keep Manley in power. So let me correct that. That was a situation that Saga was seeking the assistance out to get Manley out of power.
Out of power.
That's it said, don't you? Yes.
Right? So when you go down right in the body, right, of bulletin point number 1, it tells you the true intention that Saga wanted was to keep Manley out of power. All right.
Yes. And him said that to restore the government. And him tell them, and they said the British, them talk to the British. So this was a covert thing with Saga. That me tell them. So the propaganda, remember, you know, them tell us propaganda, them come with the fire, man, they say put them and come with the gun back, and them put them on the manners. So no matter about the 70s, go mash up. Meanwhile, we are right, you know. Round this, we still go to school and we still, you understand? So the one I did still run, when it come to the 80 election now, we have a problem. So we just show 78. This I got closer now, September 79. This are just a year out before the election. Right? Now we put up a one now.
Yeah.
We put up a one now. Because people for know now, we run us, so you know. We're the TITANS, them can't tell me nothing. Say I go for charge for treason. You understand? Let me see if that one they may put up here. So yes, that one yeah. All right, Tita.
Okay. All right. Security of affairs.
Yeah.
Right. Brzezinski to Secretary of State Vance. This appeared in Washington, September 24, 1979. Right. Now, the president has read a recent intelligence analysis reporting that Jamaican Prime Minister Manley is turning to the radical Jamaican left in an attempt to shore up his weakened political position. Well, so let me explain that, people. This is the propaganda.
Yes.
This is the propaganda that Saga had spread to the United States, right, to seeking assistance from the United States to get out Michael Manley with this propaganda. So I want people to understand it. Now, the analysis reviews his harsh criticism of U.S. and endorsement of Cuban Soviet position on a number of issues at the non-aligned conference and later at the annual conference of his ruling party.
So you see all them scrutinize him and round him and do all kind of little things. And the non-alliance, I know nothing, you know, I just we make some more money and they will do it right. And them TITANS say this and that, but them the backside get them upset, everything get them upset. That man and I bow to them. Them come up with all kind of things and a Saga. You remember the assistants?
Exactly.
So you get her something, Saga say cut it off. It's evil, you know. Very evil.
So one has to look as it relates to the movement of Edward Saga, right? Working in alliance with the United States to overthrow Manley where democratic socialism is concerned. Let us read on. The president reacted to the analysis with the comment, and hear what the president is saying. Open. We should wrap him in a way to strengthen
his opposition.
Right? Now, the Department of State should implement the president's instruction and please inform the president. So guess what now? Based on what that paragraph is saying now, that okay, they form an alliance with Edward Saga to strengthen the opposition against Michael Manley. And as a result of that, you know, was definitely coming off the edge to the fact that Michael Manley, you understand, as it relates to the Bauxite levy, taking it from $25 million per year to $200 million per year. So they hurt, they grieve. People, I want to show, before you move on, Wayne.
Yes.
Because we want to explain certain things to the people.
Yes.
Right? And I want to say this, right? If anyone should ask me if, right, in terms of, you know, goodwill that Jesus himself walked earth and executed. Now, when it comes to Jamaica, Michael Manley, right, had walked a parallel line in terms of loving the Jamaican people, caring for the Jamaican people, knowing to the fact that he wants to set a nation, you understand, as it relates to better, stronger future for black people. Michael Manley single-handedly take on the forces of evil. And remember that the forces of evil as it relates to Saga and the CIA who work against Michael Manley to damage democratic socialism. So when here we move forward in this time and we have seen some academia, right, putting Saga to celebrate Edward Philip George Saga. Now, the TITANS can tell you this categorically clear that Edward Saga is one of the obstacles that caused Jamaica in the current dilemma that Jamaica faces today. Now, there are three agents of evil that caused Jamaica the current dilemma. Alexander Bustamante, Edward Saga, and Andrew Holness, who is the worst of all three. Let us move on and read the document. Bring up the document. Now, the analysis reviews, yes.
Now bring up the other document here. Hold on.
Yes.
You see that one here?
Yes. Light, take it away, Light.
All right, I'm just going to it up.
Okay. Yeah, this one is a 196 memorandum form. The President, Assistant for National Security Affairs, Brzezinski, to Secretary of State Vance. Washington, October the 3rd, 1979. Subject, Jamaica. The President has read Ambassador Lawrence cable concluding that Prime Minister Manley decision to align Jamaica with Cuba and the Soviet Union necessitate the implementation of an effective program to slow him down or reverse this course. 2. Lawrence noted that this could involve change in our aid program and speaking candidly on investment and tourism to a broad spectrum of interested persons as well as a review.
Spectrum.
Yeah, abroad, right.
Yes.
A broad spectrum of interested persons as well as a review of some of our other program. Yeah, scroll up.
Yeah,
in response to this cable, the President directed, let's do this. The Department of State should implement the President's instruction and inform the President of measures taken.
Yes, it is.
C.
All right. So when you see this, so this way that come up to the election, for general election, Byron. So you see, when you hear say them did strap down and I do this, see I got the one where down there do this, you know. Man, go about and even tired of women. I you know.
Yes.
Well, I mean, all of this show you the part that Saga play on behalf of the capitalist regime, you know.
Exactly.
He was in Jamaica.
The JLP opposition, yes. Them, yes. So this is evil, but brother.
No big issue as it relates to people knowing who undertake that initiative. Because Saga was just a rampant disorder individual in Jamaica who at the time tried to obliterate Jamaica future under Michael Manley and the future of the black people in the third world country. So when they use Cuba as a decoy to, you know, come up with their rhetoric of saying, well, Jamaica is practicing communism because Cuba was known to be aligned to communist you know, structure and policies. So for Jamaica now to be, you know, close allied of Cuba, they are saying that Jamaica was implying the same strategy as it relates to communism. But Jamaica was dealing with socialism.
Exactly.
That was Michael Manley's fundamental aim. Socialism, and expand it out into what you would call now self-reliance.
Free South Africa, free African country, one third world, one of
Countries, yes.
one best for we with them called third world people.
Yeah, because Manley was a champion for the 46 countries that formed the third world group of countries,
Yes,
And Manley was the forerunners, representation, in terms of confronting these metropolitan alliances. So Manley was the father figure, not just for Jamaica, but for the entire 46 third world country. So, because of what Manley had, in terms of him standing up against this alliance and asking them for more for our natural resource as it relates to bauxite and gaining eightfold in terms of moving it from 25 million per ton per year to 200 million.
Wow.
But look what they did to nullify the rise in increase of the bauxite. They moved wheat from $67 per ton to over $209 per ton.
You can't say nothing to
and
them.
The soy, right, and you can't say anything to them. And the soya bean that we were paying less than $100 per ton was moved to over $400 per ton. So they literally took back what we gained from the bauxite.
Yeah.
So these people are all these people are all
than what we need for them with them wheat. Guys, that big country and them want war plane and all kind of things. And we have 200,000 tons.
No, we have 2 billion tons of bauxite.
2 million. Okay, good. Yes.
So 2 billion tons of bauxite we have in our resource. But we were more of value to them because America rely on aluminum for all its production as it relates to even its army. You understand? Without bauxite, America could not develop the army that they had.
Yeah.
So when you look at how they tried to undermine Jamaica as a third world country under the leadership of Michael Manley, using Saga as an instrumental tool in Jamaica. Right. And this is why, and this is why I am of the opinion that Edward Saga name should not be a no highway in Jamaica, and it should never be a national leader where they are trying to, instigate. Because when we look at what we are seeing in front of us, he is right. Him shouldn't depend on money and those type of things. Edward Saga is a damaged collateral for Jamaica. Even right now, we are still bearing the brunt of Saga era, and his policy are still being maintained by people that comes after him. Andrew Holness is the worst one. Because he has increased what Saga did to over 100-fold.
Don't move, like.
Because
don't move. I'm Byron. You notice the lies and the propaganda we Saga use. We never have the internet or not now, and ramp it up. But good thing you have the Titans here lied. We know just check them. And can we show them some things where them can't go say book back, Them the print. We show them some things release and all kind of things. So we have to hold them there. So no more other PR thing that we may run with. We not allow it. We name the Titans around here, so. Continue, my brother.
Yeah, so when we mirror the two leaders, we see where Andrew Holness, as I said, ramp up the corruption to an extremely high level. Because the blueprint has always been kept by the Jamaica Labour Party from the inception. Alexander Bustamante coming right down. And I mean, other leaders have, you know, move it to a different scale. So what we're seeing now is the blueprint that is there all along. So we are telling the Jamaican people, now that we are revealing all the facts in its entirety from the inception of the Jamaica Labour Party, it is clear water for you to see which party have your best interests as it relates to you having a life that you can be proud of in your country. That you can make something from staying at home rather than thinking of going abroad. So we need to bring back the fundamental grassroots foundation that Michael Manley had in place. And one of its highlighting factor was self-reliance. We have to start mobilize ourselves to start, you know, increase our lifestyle. And farming is a fundamental key to Jamaican development. Our same bauxite industry, the music, all the things that we know we have at our disposal, we have to start use them and stop rely on just the service market that they are trying to provide for us. To go in the hotel and spread the bed and all these things. These are not, you know, something that is solid to build a nation upon. The BPO call center them, those are garbage.
Yeah.
We want to go back to farming and, you know, some more key issues like manufacture, like shoes, clothes. I remember we had some very excellent garment factory in Jamaica, New York, Satisfaction Garment Factory. And then what the Chinese did under Saga, them come in that thing named free zone and kill our local industry. And we have not recovered back our garment sector, manufacturing sector since then.
Yes.
So the Jamaica Labour Party has always been there, working on behalf of the CIA in Washington. They have not desist from that practice. It is still going on. And this is why they are doing some things. And, you know, we are asking why America hasn't come down harder on them, as we see them go for other people in other places. But we know the blueprint.
Exactly.
Because the cable that we just look at, you know, outline it clearly. And it's specifically pointing that Jamaica has been a paradise for America. Jamaica has always been a paradise for America as it relates to our resource. So, you know, we just have to just educate the people and just get them up to date as what we are saying to them is factual. So I yield back to another Titan member.
All right.
Yes, Byron, you're gonna come in right now, but remember do that one here, read it and then mash them up. Because that one hurt me heart, you know. Look what the man them talk about, look what the man them attack, yeah. So never gonna make you read that one, yeah. And then this one party thing, this is what them that run with the people, them with, you know. Michael Manley wasn't a man like this. But this is how Andrew wrap up with lie and talk about 18 and a half years and about this and that. The same thing in there try. But we stop him. We stop him around here, sir, you know. Him too live. People start fact check him. Him can't talk to nobody now, you know. Around him, my brother. Look on this. Let me draw it up that you can see it more.
All right. 1997 Memorandum of Members of the Special Coordination Committee, subject covert actions, options for Jamaica. Bulletin point number 1 initiative. This paper proposes a covert action program in Jamaica. It has been prepared by CIA as a means of countering Soviet and Cuban moves to gain control over Jamaican policies and to expand their influences in the Caribbean. So, well, let me explain that, because that's what we just read. We know that was a definitely lie. You understand? Michael Manley wasn't spreading the influence of Cuba and the Soviet Union as it relates to communism. You understand? The whole propaganda as it relates to Edward Saga. And that's why, look here, Edward Saga and particularly Andrew Holness. And that is why Andrew Holness is behaving like that. You understand? The same lying, the same manipulation that Saga went on with. It is
and that's him a try.
That Andrew Holness is using. As a matter of fact, Andrew Holness want to run the entire Jamaica like how Saga run Tivoli. That is how Andrew Holness want to run Jamaica. So let us move on. Issues for the decision, the actions, options listed below have been developed to allow for contact with a leader of the political opposition party in Jamaica and to explore possible covert support to this moderate political group. The goal of this support would be strengthen the moderate democratic elements in Jamaica in order to enable them to resist the pro-Soviet and Cuban and anti-US policies of the Jamaican government under Prime Minister Michael Manley. Hold on there.
Anti-US policies for Bauxite.
Yeah, but me need to explain something here, so Wayne.
Yes.
Because remember, let us bring the people to bear. Remember when Singapore Prime Minister came to Jamaica in the 70s to take away the model. So what people need to understand right in there, that United States, as it relates to their policy, was want to force up free market, you understand, economy on us. Because remember, the economic model that we were practicing was mixed economy. You understand, that aligned with democratic socialism. And we are free market economy aligned with capitalism. Now, right here, so now we have to explain in terms of make people understand where we are coming from as it relates to the root cause of these things. Now, before we go any further, I want to just take the time in terms of, in a layman term, I am going to explain, you understand, what is colonialism. You understand?
I'm blessed. Sorry, I just came off my live. Good night, everybody.
All right.
Yes, Pastor Ricky.
Light and Sir Byron, Mystic.
You know, Pastor Ricky, you know, so tonight we are baptized in the Titan blood. You know?
Have to.
Hey, as long as government accountable and expose corruption, I'm in.
All right, good. So,
Manley
so watch this. Let us explain this to the people, right? So that the people can fully understand. So we are going to go a little bit prior to Manley issue before we finish reading the document. If people ask what is colonialism, I am going to break down colonialism in a layman term for people. It simply means, what is colonialism? It is European enslaving Africans and other minority, you understand, for their sustenance of their wealth. More people to have that in their mind as it relates to what is colonialism.
Yes.
Now, let us ask, what is neocolonialism? Neocolonialism, as it relates to, in layman term, in my understanding, right, is where the colonial masters' descendants protecting and preserving their ancestors' wealth that build on the back of slaves.
Yes.
So we want people to understand what is colonialism. We're going to talk about colonialism and what is neocolonialism and why Michael Manley was fighting this. So now, when we look, right, we understand that Europeans, right, went on the high seas, right, and tried to colonize the world, seeking wealth and enslave black people. You understand me? I say, no, you're going to hear name like Willie Lynch. You're going to hear argument like the Black Code, right? And what was the essence of the Black Code, right? And people need to do this research. So then people now let us bring forward as it relates to the evil that Michael Manley was fighting. Edward Saga, you understand, and in extension the Jamaica Labour Party tied to capitalism. Neocolonialism, you understand, tied to capitalism. The economic model that shaped is not an economic model that is going to say that, okay, they are going to set policies and procedures to benefit black people in general. I want people to understand this. Right? And so then, on their standard basis as it relates to neocolonialism, right? Neocolonialism take on what we call capitalism. And so then, remember, iron and clay, as it relates to the Bible, you know, it can't mix, you know. Iron and clay cannot mix.
Daniel chapter 7.
The iron is the capitalism, and the clay is democratic socialism as it relates to the principal powers. So while Michael Manley, through democratic socialism, wanted to educate the nation, European interests as it relates to capitalism never have any interest to educate and improve our nation. No, their interest was to improve their wealth. So when Michael Manley make a move in terms of increasing the Bauxite levy, was for us black people to get the benefit of our resources. The capitalists, them vex. Capitalists, them vex. So people need to understand. Now, in this time, we have seen where Nigel Clark gone to IMF. Let me tell you one of the reasons why Nigel Clark went to IMF. If you go back in the plan, you will see where Nigel Clark removed the levy. Capitalism. The capitalists love what Nigel Clark had done. Because Nigel Clark reduced the Bauxite levy to zero. Simple means now they have full control of our resources. This was what Michael Manley fought for in the 70s.
Yep.
This is what Edward Saga, link with the CIA, right? Link with capitalism, destroy democratic socialism. Mm-hmm. So then people need to understand the foundation and the basis in terms of what we are discussing tonight. And you see the struggle that Michael Manley is fighting. So when you see the covert actions, all of what you have seen there, that we learned some, you understand, those source document is to tell you, you understand the covert actions of what Saga, the CIA, right, and in extension, the capitalists had done to destroy democratic socialism, destroy mixed economic model. Now, the mixed economic model, what Michael Manley used to practice, is what Singapore is still practicing today. And look at Singapore now, in comparison to us, utilizing free market, right? Because free market, as it relates to capitalists, you understand, deals with real, although it is the current market for today. So let me break down certain things, right? As it relates to the market, because that is how it is set. You understand, as it relates to European trying to control, capitalism try to control, right? Not only Jamaica they try to control, right? They try to control the globe, right? To stay dominance, because they believe that the suppression of, you understand, the general black people and minority people is the survival of them. So then they believe that, look, if they continue to suppress us, this is the way how they are going to survive. So people need to understand that the demons that we fight today, you understand, is in the principalities and powers. That's why I ask Brother Wayne Lonesome said we are not to travel and leave Pastor Ricky. I want Pastor Ricky to carry the cross and the holy water tonight.
Because that was done 2,000 years ago already, man.
All right. so people need to understand where we are going as it relates to the political philosophy that we are struggling with. Democratic socialism and capitalism, right? And remember, JLP is not hiding that. JLP is telling you that they are capitalists. You understand what I say? But we understand we are capitalists linked to as it relates to it in John neocolonialists and, you know, neocolonialists, you understand, as it relates to what happened through the colonial era. You understand, in terms of their wealth. You understand, as it relates to European wealth. Where the European wealth built on the backs of slaves. You understand?
True.
For those IC's time, right, in the 17th century and 16th century, you understand, you name it. You understand where they go and you understand they do all sort of manner of evil. You understand, to people, right, and colonize them. Now remember, now we are forward in the Caribbean, and what a lot of people don't know, that when it comes to the fight that Haiti is fighting, Jamaica is fighting that same fight.
Exactly.
The pressure what Haiti is going under, people need to understand that the pressure what Haiti is going on under is very simple to the fact that Haiti had fought for their freedom. And as a result of Haiti fought for their freedom, you understand, France put an embargo on Haiti and have Haiti to pay back millions of dollars because they believe that the Asians stopped their slave trade. So people need to understand where this is going in. You understand? And we here in the Caribbean, right? Majority of the islands in the Caribbean where black people are now located. If you go back in history, it tells you that these Caribbean islands are what they call satellite locations. Why they were called satellite locations? Because the mainland United States of America, right, particularly North Carolina, you understand, where the first, as it relates within their constitution, was written, you understand, for slavery in their constitution. Right? Slavery in their constitution. And so then you have likes like Willie Lynch, you understand, writing the Black Code. And what the Black Code means. The Black Code means as long as you keep them separated. And so they established the Black Code. You have the house slaves and the plantation slaves. And that's why we behave like this today. You understand? Through ignorance. Right? Many of us falter through ignorance. Because how much person fighting for JLP and don't even understand the foundation of JLP? How many, and I mean academia in university. Some of them, you understand, who are defending JLP, the very same academia, many of them benefited as a result of what Michael Manley fight for.
Amen.
Free education through the Bauxite levy.
Don't move, Byron. Don't explain, because show them it first.
Exactly.
All of the fight from 1972 to go up to the election. I could have shown the achievement. When you say this man, and when you read this, you know, I'm going to show this first and make you finish, Byron.
Yes.
But when you read what just to plan the achievement of man, enough more things too. But yes, still, them want to put him in as something when him only thing the man do his business, but our business, until they say education first. Look on this. Yes. Now look from him father and go to him. Just to plan some of them things. Look here.
The legacy of the PMP. Let me see this. PMP.
I'm going to move from him father.
Yeah.
Look, move to Manley. Michael. All right, Michael Manley, right?
Yeah.
Start from there, sir.
Okay. So Michael Manley administration right? GC Foster College, NHT, right? And that is one of Michael Manley's main project, NHT, that is now being utilized, and where, of course, the JLP now take it and where NHT simple for what NHT was built for and designed for, right? NHT is out of the hands of poor people, right? People who have been contributing now can't really even afford an NHT home. Now, the bauxite levy, this is what we are talking about. The bauxite levy is
Jamaica. This is Jamaica, yeah.
Yeah, the bauxite levy is what you know, the strong lion like United States fight against Manley. You understand, as it relates to the bauxite levy, to the fact that they increased the bauxite levy when we were getting $25 million per year. Michael Manley fight so that we start to get $200 million per year. You understand? We have seen many success done. The deregulation of the foreign exchange market, College of Agriculture, Science and Education case, Jamal, which is important. No, wait, just me ask you a little time. Let me explain something about Jamal here.
Yes.
Why it is important, and people, I want you to listen to me keenly as it relates to the crime rate that we are seeing, right, for years. Now, let me tell you something, and I'm talking particularly to the parents. You understand, the young girls who are having children and so forth and so forth. Education, and this is why people, you have to understand when we talk about democratic socialism, when we talk about Manleyites, right? And when we talk about, as it relates to our current comrade leader, Mark Jefferson Golden, education is vital.
Right.
For a society to strive, for a society, you understand, to move forward in nation building. Education is imperative. Now, people, now you follow the Titans, you follow the Mystic Sensation. Titans and Mystic Sensation show you how the Jamaica Labour Party damage education. You have seen that more than 5 persons out of the Jamaica Labour Party, you understand, charged for stealing up the education money because they don't interested in education. Why education is important? Now, let me say this. Now, the importance of education is that through education, we can have our technocrats. We can have people who can think, you understand, and make informed decisions. And so then when the nation is educated, the nation is going to progress. Michael Manley realized that for the parents, you understand, to bring forth a generation into the framework of education, the parents have to be educated. Now, let me ask you a question. If you have a home where the mother and father cannot read properly, how are they going to anticipate that when their children come home from school, that their children is going to do their homework? Many Jamaican women, and I'm saying this right now, many Jamaican women, and particularly Jamaican parents, right, where you have single homes and those homes that you have the mother and father, right, they don't help with their children education. The children go to school, and when they come home from school, right, they don't find time to take up where the teacher left off. They don't find time to take off where the children left off. And many of them, right, as it relates to in the poor community, or if you want to call it ghetto, you understand? They want to see them children go high school, the most prominent high school, but yet they are not working with their children. They are not helping their children at the home. And that's why you see our crime rate moving in this regards. Because many of these youths, right, cannot utilize the brain, you understand, to help themselves. And this is how now Jamaica Labour Party, as a young party, use these persons who are ignorant. And many of them, if you look now, let me ask the question, when it comes to Tivoli and it comes to shower posse, right? You know how many persons, how many youth you understand, go through shower posse and dead. How many mayhem committed through shower posse? If those youths were educated, criminal gangs like shower posse and other gangs, and even gangs from the PNP too, you understand, wouldn't be utilizing them. Yep. But they would be able to afford and can help themselves because they have education. Many of these people who you see resort to scamming. I am saying here tonight that what democratic socialism and the basis of democratic socialism is, the foundation is education.
Amen.
The foundation is education. And you have a lot of ghetto youths, right? When it comes to education, they are going to divert because they don't want, you understand, the stress on their brain. They believe to go out and rob, it's easier than you study hard. You understand, to show yourself approved. Remember, my friend, let me say this to you. The Bible itself say, study to show yourself approved. You understand? Pastor Ricky, there for back me up, you know.
Yeah,
the
man.
Bible itself say, young man,
I call on you.
Study to show yourself approved.
I work and need not be ashamed. Rightly divide the word of truth. Yeah.
Exactly. Amen. CMU, the Port Authority of Jamaica.
Continue on.
Yeah, the Port Authority of Jamaica. Go blowing some.
It'll go. Remember play. So, oh man, they are thinking about communists, but yes, still the whole of them are running will benefit our fighter now.
Exactly.
Benefit to the whole of Jamaica. Eh?
Yes.
The Saga wicked and the JLP, you know, Lion Party, mash up the country. And Andrew Holness I come try to do the same thing.
Exactly. The Port Authority of Jamaica, the National Youth Service, right? The National Family Planning Board, the National Family Court, where pregnant mothers can go there and address certain situations if the father doesn't want to take care, you understand, of their children, right? The Gun Court, the Manley College for the Visual and Performing, the Greater Portmore Housing Development, the Jamaica Bauxite Institute, you understand, to defend our rights and defend our right fair share to get from our bauxite, the NWC, the Garvey Massey High School, Bridgeport High School, Waterford High School, Mona High, Herbert Morrison Tech, repeal of the Master and Servant Act, repeal of the
big one again, you know. I'll be able to think them call him something else. Continue.
Yes. The right of union representation in the workplace, equal. Hold on.
Repeal of the Bastard Act. The Bastard Act now. The Bastard Act, yeah. You remember, you know, you're born out of wedlock.
Yes.
Not married. Well, born in a wedlock. So, you know, and yes. But you're born out of wedlock, them that say you're a bastard or something. And you know, have the same rights. All right. All right. So your father have your there, so him married, no have a wife, and him have other kids or so. But only have the same rights, you know. Yeah. Before man bring in this, now every kid equal. Him say equal, and make him play it and make him here, you know. Under the sun.
Yes.
Under the law, everything you're equal, like your brother and sister, them equal.
Yeah.
Yes.
This? Me wonder why. Let me put this way. Let me sort of coin it, you know, not to offend anyone. Particularly the females this time. I wonder why females have drawn to the Jamaica Labour Party. What would be the reason for females, right, to have themselves connected with the Jamaica Labour Party? A lot of people say, boy, Byron is sound bias. But look on this. Michael Manley recognized the female and fight for equal pay for women.
Yeah.
Equal pay for women. So when I am wondering that when people is going to make a choice in terms of voting for a political party, do they understand the framework of the political party? the policies being achieved, the social programs being attained, maternity leave with pay. No, we don't look at these things.
Byron, you know what's the other day made them talk about, you know, JLP, how many of them some maternity leave, how them are, listen, me have to say, listen, if you know where that come from here.
Yeah.
You see that equal thing, they're not even in America. Because the other day, them still argue about it. It's from the 70s.
Yeah.
And when them are rush man, the FEMA do. But can you imagine a man, where you blame man, they say, we not pay them the mind with us, do what we are doing. Stop this to our people and free will.
Yeah, them just want to discard the truth, like what them are doing now with the 18 years. I try reverse facts and history and the things that's in place that them benefit from, like we say. So their goal is to lie. They're just pathological liars and deceivers to take away. Look at from 72 to 1980 accomplishments. What's that? 8 years?
Yes.
Yes.
8 years. Now, can we compare this?
Yes.
Right. Can we compare this now to the current 8 years that this government been in office? Absolutely not.
More than 8 years. Nearly 9. 8 and 3 quarters. He
Right.
not do nothing.
Them not do nothing.
No, yes, him do something. Let me tell you.
So,
Bank account, 473 million. Big house on the hill, man, they say him like wear simple clothes and him dress simple. Them say him broke when him dead. Him no mind. Because he move simple and drive simple car. Look for Holness. When you look, money come from SSL, Zozo, state of emergency, and PR. That guy not do nothing for Jamaica. The guy named Holness. PR. Like the idiot.
You have to add nits to it now. The biometric tracking and tracing system what them are putting.
Nits.
Yeah.
Yes. And so we move on to 28, the national minimum wage. Scroll up, Wayne. Lowering of voting age to 18. Universal access to secondary education. Right?
We don't show some.
Yes.
I'm not going to participate. I'm not going to show you. But this was a man now, in a freedom face, them say him a communist, and him want this and that, and them a push. This was totally lie, right?
Yeah.
Totally disrespect. Well, on there. Make a push up back this. Make push up back the thing them I want to see with him here. So, well, on there. Make a push up back this. Make a finish read this now. Look what them put up the man. What them say about the man? You who want to finish read this? If you want to finish read this.
Pastor Ricky, touch that now.
Which pass? From the top?
No, remember say if I the same one this me above. Which one me above? 3, 4. Which one me above? 5. I'm going to go back from the top. I'm going to make you touch it from the top. I'm going to go back at 5. All right. At 5 you above, right? All right. All right. Go on from the yellow part. So number 2.
Number 2. Okay. It says issues for decisions. The options listed below have been developed to allow for contact with the leader of the political opposition party in the Jamaica and to explore possibility of covert support to his moderate political groups. This sounds like something from the CIA.
It's dead, yes.
The goal of this support would be to strengthen the moderate democratic elements in Jamaica in order to enable them to resist the pro-Soviet Cuban anti-US politics of the Jamaican government under the Prime Minister Michael Manley. This support would be also seeking to frustrate any initiative by Manley to move towards a one-party totalitarian state. What the
Manley, why Manley don't move? So after him put in the whole of them, you know, this is what the matter. And we hear Saga with the same argument about one man they move to a totalitarian state. So me just show you this. And remember, him has sent up the whole of this, you know. I can play back Saga saying it. All time one mouth. Go on, continue this, so.
Yeah, our ultimate aim is to either the political defeat of Manley and the replacement of his government with one more
Replacement.
friendly with
Replacement, you know.
replacement. Right,
Replacement. You
them
hear this?
regime change like the US normally used to use it.
Yes.
Regime change them are dealing of his
More
government
friendly to the US.
with one more friendly to the United States
Yeah.
and appreciative of the US interests. And that might tell you, the US always do things towards their interest, or at the minimum, the application of enough pressure on Manley and his People's National Party, the PNP, to force moderation of their foreign policy, practically several of the trend
Reversal trend.
reversal of the trend
Yeah.
towards closer ties with Cuba and the Soviet Union.
All right, so let me just move this. All right, so what me there? So this is what me I talk about here, so right? This is what me I talk about. Me I play back. Thing themselves. I forgot playing back. But the totalitarian state where you just hear, I want to play back Saga himself as these things, you know. So I remember him saying out these things, you know. I play him, I say.
CIA rhetoric, them I promote, man.
Rhetoric, this is what they do. So when Andrew come say this the other day, remember those Monday. When Andrew come say this the other day, I start the foolishness, you know. Under pressure, and start chatting foolishness again. All right, here I say, so just listen to the same word we just read. And you still film name and night, you know. Hear this. Hear this, come on now.
Opposite view contended that Manley's ultimate aim is to take Jamaica into the Cuban orbit and to transform the society into a Cuban-type society. They have, in fact, implemented many of the types of institutions that are necessary for the transformation.
What sort of thing?
Training programs. We have, for instance, some 1,000 Jamaican youths that have now been trained in Cuba under a program that has come to be known as the Brigadista program. Because the purpose of the program is to set up Marxist-Leninist brigades to return to Jamaica to indoctrinate the peasant people and the working class people.
The relationship with Cuba.
Peasant people. I am. I mean, I'd say the same thing, one state, this and that. So these are the things I remember, I'll show you the document where the man them attack, but break it down. So when Andrew run out the other day, and I talk about the 70s mashup, you see everything when we get on the 70s, in the NHT I cut ribbon, and I give people key. But you still talk about dictatorship and everything. You see much people have them thing? Man, they never move so. Man, they never have 1 cent. They can't say the man go with 1 cent. Andrew, enough money you have, you know, you're a billionaire, you and your wife, you know. Billionaire around here, you know. Then him go to the 18 and a half years.
And when my carry belly for them years there.
What build the country without the transformation and the telephone system, you know, with the internet and everything. Jamaica, you know, so we're there in a Stone Age.
Right.
It opened up the whole country, you know. Yes. See? It and the same import, the license for import and thing where it's enough people now have car mart and thing.
Yeah.
They use vehicle and everything. If them bring in so much things, and them say yes, still them crush the place, ask him what Saga bring in. Exactly. Ask him what Bruce bring in, ask him what him carry. Just show me one thing what him do. He might tell us a road, he might claim all the highway, but him not build.
But he might move to digital.
It's a despot.
He might move to 100% fully digital off of the same infrastructure with the internet or PJ them bringing for yes. Give Jamaica Wi-Fi and fiber optic cable that can launch the internet. And the same system Maga used to bring in digital currency.
Thank you. The same system, MSL said that revolutionized the place. Yeah, and this guy still run out. Me see him go up at the mall when I'm build over good here. It's a mall and a people. It's a mall, gate up mall. And step on Bow Town Center, we say not a step on urban center. It's a mall. And you have mall bigger than that. I can show you some mall how big them is. You have mall bigger than them. Fairview mall, a big mall too, you know. It's a mall, them a build. You have some mall, everything under cover somewhere you go, and you have big parking and you just walk and go to the store. More thing than that, more space. See? It's a mall. Yes. So this guy is a crazy guy. And not only that, him shouldn't be in a prime minister, should have resigned. So I'm gonna draw down the whole JLP party. Then he might bring him back the whole of the criminal them. Which one of the criminal them him move from out of the way?
None.
Byron, Pastor Ricky are live. Which one of the criminals?
He hasn't moved any, so to speak. He has just, put them aside for a bit of time and then reinstate them. That's all he has done.
Good for
I
reshuffle.
mean, just look at even, for instance, Dalrymple. What we see with Dalrymple and Andrew Holness is an unsavourable, saga that has, lasted for more than a decade. You have to go back to Richard Clarke and what Richard Clarke wrote to the Prime Minister, then opposition at the time, asking for help as it regard to Dalrymple and the confiscation of, the siblings' inheritance from the dad that was deceased. And what Dalrymple did, she completely and utterly carry out an act of criminality. I remember Ermin Clark was a person that was deceased, and she also forged the dead woman's signature in order to enable her to carry out the sale of the property. And for over 40 years, that siblings, the Clark siblings, has never received a penny. So under no circumstance, if you go back to her professional career outside of politics, she was a no good individual. She was a criminal.
Yep.
She has performed a lot of, indiscretionable atrocity on Jamaican citizens.
Yeah.
And Andrew Holness was fully aware of who Dalrymple was from then. But both of them have been individuals that had checkered career, They have been helping each other. So that is the reason why there's a colossus form of alignment between Dalrymple and Andrew Holness.
Right.
Because Dalrymple should have never put foot into the Jamaica politics landscape. She has been a corrupted element practicing law as it relates to she being an attorney.
Right.
She has ripped off many peoples, not only Richard Clarke. And Andrew Holness was fully aware.
Right.
But Andrew Holness did nothing because he need these type of people around him to, cover him
Right.
as it relates to his share of the corruption.
Right.
When Dalrymple was the Speaker of the House, what did she do? She manipulated Parliament to suit Andrew Holness.
Change the standing order.
Right. If the opposition tabled anything, she put it aside.
Yeah.
She turned off the mic, they do all type of thing. So this is a corrupted force of people combined to destroy Jamaica, to obliterate the whole landscape of Jamaica and the citizens in Jamaica. That is the reason why we know she is a criminal, because evidence has been there, and you can have someone who is on social media as, confiscating people wealth, but then you bring them into politics. Right. No, she should have even been a parliamentarian.
True that.
She should have been struck off the bar and, kicked out of practicing law in Jamaica.
Yeah.
But and America need to go after her because she forged them citizen signature. That is culpable. So I'm asking myself the question from a mighty long time: why is she still standing?
Because she's been
so the Jamaican citizen know if they have any moral people in Trelawney, we don't need to demonstrate against this woman returning back to the fold of politics in Jamaica.
Don't move again. Don't move again. Very important. We want to show us something. Can we mash up tonight? You know, we have the time for mash up tonight. When I put up something now, Pastor Ricky thing there, when I just run through, I'm gonna show you oh you remember them use propaganda with Mama P. Then use propaganda with Finsack. And when you look at Saga with the most money and the whole of them bun bag thing and everything, then use propaganda because them practice this. But them don't understand. So we with the music. Let me just explain something to them what them don't understand. You see, we have to know what history good because we are lyricists, we write lyrics. Pastor Ricky know the music long time before you go in church. Lie, you do music too. Byron, you produce music. No people don't know this, so me just tell them. Yes, good. We do music decades, so them don't know this. We involved in music long time, you know. Yes, some people find sound and thing, and some people move to the recording and all kind of thing. But with the music, we run it, the music, right? And if you be a lyricist, you know, you have to know your history.
Yep.
You know, man, so give me some cultural lyrics, and it have to depend key, depend point. So we know the history. And you will go up through the one of these time, you can't come through Anjo. And then we used to the TV and the thing. I remember a long time we in this. I remember we travel the world to an hour and I think you can't come through me. When you see me sit down, you answer man and the wilderness, but I feel like you can't go around me, you know. We know the what of this. We know we're not going with to do we always do tune and burn politician and burn corruption and burn a lot of things. You know that, right? All right.
I promote civil rights. Yeah, man.
Yes, look on this now. Let me show you that thing quick. And look on this. Look on the propaganda and the thing where them say them plan go on Manley now. Just take a look on this. Let me just open it a little bigger. We recommend therefore that less than one line, not declassified. The PMP less than one line, not declassified, increasing our knowledge of the intention and tactic of this leader, that the CIA prepare and submit for SEC approval. A new presidential finding that covert action should be implied to what is? You see this?
The youth propaganda infrastructure.
Discredit and undermine.
Manley. This are the same thing where you say Andrew is I tried to do that same come Trophy Guru. It was not scandal. Them do it in the 70s. This is what the CIA use. We have the thing with it and tell you, because we can't play it too. But we're going to show them some things where them declassify and the government. Him do this with Porsche. Andrew want his practice and do this with Porsche when he go out and chat about foolishness. Him and his sperm whale them. It's not going to work again.
That's right.
Provide, look at counter-terrorist training to JLP. What?
Leadership.
Leadership.
Not me, I say so. Him can't hide this no more. But when they talk about Lenin, this and that and foolishness, a school leader build up, you see how kind of thing I build up and daycare centers and where I go school and everything. See, him train them up. You remember them at the first M16 at the place, you know, JLP, you know.
Yeah.
Tell them this, you know. When me hear about that gun there, you know, because through the 303 rifle police have an little 38 and the little tough button. And they remember, well, my father was a cop anyway, so me that, yes. But when you hear about an M16, can you see it from battlefield, you know? And when you hear about it, say they're Jamaica. Yeah, say when them say, boy, you line up a 7 man and run through the whole I want to kill you now. Yeah, say what?
Then but Father we in panel. Father we in panel. You forget the grandfather. Where they are Tivoli.
Identify and disrupt the shipment of weapons and other pre-military support from Cuba. There was no shipment of no weapons.
Yeah, that is a lie.
Yes.
That is a lie.
Further delay may lead to fate accomplished. What is accomplished?
Yeah.
Yeah. Such as them leave it out yourself. Yeah. We know fierce in Grenada, but one with far more what is
dangerous consequence.
You see this? Dangerous consequences, you know. Far more dangerous consequences. Recommended. This it should be put on the agenda for the next SCC. And you see who say it? Douglas Graham, Clayton Jr. I think me having pana thing attack, you know. Pana video.
Yeah.
You hear this? So this are the one of them plan. Them are serious thing. I remember you have the thing them where you can't go draw out the certain people. See? So you see them kind of evilness with them push on one little country. Superpower fight with. With the aid, I'm betting yes, Saga and minions to just get power. Foolishness.
Yeah.
Kill out what people them 800 and people. Yeah, better than evil, you know?
Yeah, man, big time.
When you look
That's
at
why I say the Jamaica Labour Party must completely vanish from the landscape of Jamaica politics, because what we are looking at, are some very systematical disaster, and in terms of documents showing what they were doing, training the hierarchies to destroy the country. So these people, as I have always said it, they have never worked. What they have done, they have destroyed what the PMP built. Because by destroying the PMP good work, that would provide poverty and suffering amongst the people, and have our people uneducated to face these alliance, the imperialistic and the capitalist people. So I mean, we have to just continue to just elevate our people as to the real history that they should gravitate to use as a portfolio method to learn between Jamaica Labour Party and the People's National Party. And don't ever think in their head space for one single moment that the two parties are the same. One is for prosperity and one is for what? Disaster and destruction.
Like,
I yield back to a panel.
This is out of the US playbook when it comes to warfare methods. The US launched, before them start them air war and drop bombs, them first launch a propaganda warfare. So them will drop leaflets in our country with a bunch of lies and propaganda for get the people them for turn against the government. And while them are work on that strategy, them start maneuver now for launch a air assault. Send them stealth bomber and B-52 bombers for drop bomb. And after this, the air war, then them sending the ground troops. So these are tactics that the US military use, that them get to Saga for spread these propaganda for control the mind of the people in Jamaica in the 70s leading up to the 1980s election. And it's sad that they were able to link or tie Sir Michael Joshua Manley as a communist, because remember, I go back to the genesis of the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962 when Russia sent missiles in Cuba and Kennedy sent a blockade ship and block it. And ever since then, them turned against Cuba and starved the whole country because they want.
Yes.
Before that, Pastor Ricky, you have a guy named Batista.
Yes.
Because him a despot. Him and got the people them bad, but him leave the American business there and then prosper. So when the man got the people them and him cast overthrow,
Yes, get to overthrow him. Because he used to allow the Americans them to come into Cuba and prostitute the females them, Batista.
Yeah.
So he had to be overthrown by Castro.
Yes, them did lock up Castro already.
Castro would not allow Batista to Castro wouldn't allow Batista to continue and depart because it was destroying the Cubans. Yes, because the Americans could come, into Guantanamo Bay, into Cuba.
Yeah.
But look at this now. Look at option number. Look at number Iran. Look at unilateral established direct confidential contact with Edward Saga. You notice him name come up with everything. The leader of the main opposition party, Jamaica Labour Party. You notice how America spend them labor, right? Party JLP.
Yes.
Providing guidance, assistance, and funds to the JLP in the upcoming Jamaican national election campaign.
Well, there it is. There it is.
Brother, everything what them do, remember them have this. Him can't hide and tell me nothing. You understand? So you rather sell out a country, well, in the Bible band there. See that? And look at more things where them do yourself, brother. See that? And you say, who this? Look here. Dollar amount, not classified. Them nobody classify the dollar amount for them use.
Declassified.
To unilateral to the international network of covert action assets. Assets, brother.
Yeah.
Retention of democratic institution in Jamaica. Condemn Manley close ties with the Cuban and Soviet. Expose Manley for to express political freedom and prevent free election. Prevent that mean a war, brother. See that? See that?
So this is why the JLP is the party that always tamper with the election in Jamaica, because they prevent a free election. You know, they don't want it to go about freely. So they use guns and all type of destructive element to disrupt the process of the election when election time comes. So that's why in the 1980s, Jamaica saw this massive resurgence in gun, and we had so many people died throughout an election period. So this is only highlighting what we've been saying for a very long time. The corruption level of the Jamaica Labour Party is to destroy every single aspect of Jamaica's social life in the election.
The same playbook them have now.
Yeah.
Some money upon it, so much million, yeah? Let me show you some million with them spend, because what she say, you see it? But not care what you're doing, remember how much years I run off and them are doing it. Byron, look on this now. Take a piece off for that one now. Look on that one now. Open that one now.
All right. Yeah, 192. Telegram from the Department of State to the embassy in Jamaica. Washington, September 8, 1979. Right. The subject, decision to eliminate FY 1981 PLF80 program for Jamaica. Yeah, that's good. Bulletin point number 2, a decision is about to be finalized to eliminate the FY 1980 PL 480 program of $9.9 million in Jamaica.
How much money that them time there?
Yes.
All right.
Decision is forced by the absolute need to include 14.1 million for Nicaragua in the FY 1981 PL 480 budget. The intensely negative reaction in Washington to the statement by Jamaican Prime Minister Manley at the NAM conference in Havana has been a factor in the impending Washington decision to make the budget forced cut in Jamaica. 5. There will be no announcement made concerning cutting the PL 480 programs in Jamaica, but information concerning the cut could become public in February 1980. Okay. The absence of a PL 480 component in the US, assistance to Jamaica will become evident at the May/June 1980.
I don't want the election, you know, you see it.
Yeah. Any comments you wish to make should be received by noon on Monday, September 10. Right?
Okay. Caribbean group meeting. See that? 80 Caribbean group meeting. From May to June, 80 Caribbean group meeting. And any comment you wish to make should be received by noon on Monday, September the 10th.
Yeah.
And then people them dangerous, you know.
One of the things that I want to emphasize is that people need to be cognizant of the extra effort that a Jamaica Labour Party will use. And when we hear argument, even in today's space, as it relates to by any means necessary, right? And where certain utterances, you understand, escaping the mouth of some Jamaica Labour Party politicians. Don't believe that these utterances, right, just merely escape their mouth. These utterances are actually performed over the many years. And when you look and you see where Jamaica Labour Party gone to the extreme, because what people need to realize is that one of the most cruel incident that ever happened in the entire Jamaica political atmosphere was the killing, the execution, right, of 150 odd, right, elderly women, the eventide home, right, where the CIA, right, as it relates to the plot with Edward Seaga, right, and carry out and executed that, right, to blame the Michael Manley government. So I am saying this to say that recently we have seen the situation with 320 pipe bombs, right, being found in East Kingston under the administration of Jamaica Labour Party. Well-thinking people need to ask themselves the question: when it comes to 320 pipe bombs, this is the formula of serious terrorists that is in, you understand, the whole engineering process. Now, let us dig into this situation a bit, right? Now, under Andrew Holness administration, right? If Andrew Holness was there for checks and balance, right? Because remember, you know, the Prime Minister, you understand, is the chief person who is responsible for the safety of all citizens in Jamaica.
Exactly.
Now you're going to tell me that under the Prime Minister watch, under the Minister of National Security watch, that you have 320 pipe bombs found where?
Tivoli Garden.
Tivoli Gardens, that align with what party?
The stronghold of the JLP.
Jamaica Labour Party.
From must one of the street, well, West Kingston.
Okay.
And Byron, not to interrupt you for long, but just to reiterate the fact that the pipe bomb were manufactured from fertilizer that the Jamaica Labour Party got from Morocco.
Exactly.
Within the same period of time.
Within the same space. Okay, so I am saying that people must be aware that if the Jamaica Labour Party, based on history as it relates to the eventide home, and where you see Andrew Holness is making speech that he is not going to allow the Jamaica Labour, the People's National Party, you understand, to be in power. What does the Prime Minister mean by that?
Exactly.
Because Andrew Holness, you understand? Andrew Holness, right, fully aware of the evil, and where him also participate, you understand, in several evil. Now, that in itself is a dilemma as it relates to the eventide home. Now, let us move in other situations that create such an impact on Jamaica, and to show you how the Jamaica Labour Party spin machine is trying to spin this. Now, when you look at the 1995 financial meltdown, the 1995 financial meltdown, right? And where you see Andrew Holness now on a campaign is saying that the 1995 financial meltdown, right, the primary cause of it was to the fact that government policy as it relates to high interest rate. Now, if that was so, we have seen that the credit unions, right, survive under the high interest rate. It has nothing to do with high interest rate. Andrew Holness is shaping a narrative as if it looked like he wants to tell the people that, okay, it was FinSac who had given the loans and FinSac hike up the high interest rate. Nothing like that. Nothing like that in the report.
Exactly.
The report simply is slating that, is showing that, right? What caused the 1995 financial meltdown was the simple fact that you have some banking entities, you understand, were acting contrary to the guidelines, rules, and policy of the banking entity which caused collapse. One of the main issue was that these banks, some of these banks, including NCB,
Yeah.
so we see the reduction of the report as if they want to protect NCB. NCB cannot be protected. NCB cannot be protected because NCB, you understand, was one of the main banking system, you understand, as it relates to high interest rate, right? Not FinSac, not FinSac. You understand? FinSac was just a financial adjustment company that, you understand, bind up the bad debts and try to solve the situation. So then, when you look at this, right? Who were the culprits? Who were the culprits getting the loans? The culprits who were getting the loans were persons who associated with Jamaica Labour Party.
Yeah.
Right? Edward Saga. Right? Edward Saga.
Over
$31 million.
Byron, maybe not cut you, but look on your screen.
Yes.
And it will show even more money. And this, look now, people, this are the paper. Remember, you know what have the thing them. Look on it, Byron.
Yes.
It's an observer. I may make it go through because it's a Saga. So when I draw them up at the same time, finger quick.
Right. I'm glad for you.
How much, Byron?
Yeah, I'm glad for you to be doing that, Wayne, because the people want to see that, you know, in terms of speaking, we have evidence to reference. Now, yes. Saga Company owes 443 million, right? Town and Country Resorts, right? The failed hotel operating company with JLP leader Edward Saga put up for liquidation 5 months ago, owes creditors more than 443 million, according to its statement of affairs filed with the authorities. So let us talk about that. Not only Saga alone, we talk about Dan Crawford.
One of them, but even though itself, but continue read the government.
Yes, approximately 55% of the debt is owed to the government. People don't hear that? Of which 63% are 155, right, 0.23 million related to general consumption tax, case over which Saga waged a long court battle, right? Town and Country owes employees just over 50 million in outstanding wages and redundancy payment, and over 25.5 million are for employee-related. You know what? What are we know some. I wish what the place there with them bury Edward Saga.
Boston.
Boston.
In America, bury. Them bury a box going on Jamaica, but
yeah.
Hey, look here. Let me tell you something.
And the salon have empty 2 minutes. Saga 2 minutes, Jamaica empty.
It's empty,
right? No. When you have a man like Edward Saga, right? Where I am wondering, I have to ask a question, where?
Yes.
People, the Jamaican people, do they understand the history of this man? Do they understand the history of the Jamaica Labour Party? Now, how can a party, Jamaica Labour Party, who mean you good, where you talk about the original maker of the Jamaica Labour Party, Sir Alexander Bustamante, is going to tell the nation that saltfish is better than education? let me just go back, retrogress a bit. The founder of Jamaica Labour Party, how could they mean the nation any good to know that education is vital for the nation? But yet this man is telling the nation that saltfish is better than education. And you know what? You see, when me look and see the people them around Jamaica Labour Party, right? You can see some of them are real onion.
They might eat a feeling economy, 0.1%.
Brother Byron.
Look where more government enough money, you know. You just say 155 million, right?
Yes.
And him have a next
1.35 million to the National Housing Trust. To the
That means
National Housing Trust.
money when I work with him and don't pay. Pay it over. Him keep it. Right? Then him owe an next 3.29 million to the National Insurance Scheme. Government.
Yes.
You know, all the people might get back this. The liar, my name Don Cox.
Yes.
I owed nearly 3.8 million for fighting GCT case to the Privy Council, him saying all that. If not pay the 150 million.
Hear the drama in this thing.
Yes.
It is Andrew Holness upon a campaign. And Andrew Holness is saying that what happened in the 1990s.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Is the greatest travesty against people. The greatest transfer of wealth where the poor, the money was taken from the poor and transferred to the rich. Now, people, bear in mind in terms of what Andrew Holness said.
And look front away.
Hold on, Wayne. You're not going to talk about that. Look, let me tear him up, Wayne. Look, tear him up. Look what Andrew Holness said, people. And let me ask Andrew Holness a question.
Look on himself.
Well, I'm going to ask Andrew Holness a question. Why did he have an account in SSL? Right?
He was a shareholder. One of the
You are going to tell me that Andrew Holness did not know about you cross-carry? I know that you cross-carry mix up with Pa Cheng Young in the 90s.
Them are item.
Yeah. So now let me ask Andrew Holness a question too. What SSL had done now, isn't that it is the transfer of wealth, you understand, from some of our poor investors, yeah, to you cross-carry. Because of you cross-carry, Andrew Holness of the people have money.
Yeah.
Hear what I say? We know for sure that Andrew Holness get money from SSL. But let me remind Andrew Holness something. Let me remind Andrew Holness something and remind the panel something. If Andrew Holness is getting return on investment, SSL wasn't doing any investment, Pastor Ricky, and SSL wasn't doing any investment. So if SSL wasn't doing any investment, how the hell Andrew Holness get return on investment? There is no evidence, there's no trail where any money leave from out of Andrew Holness' account go into SSL to join SSL. But yet you have trail from evidence where money coming out of SSL into Andrew Holness' account.
My God.
And Andrew Holness is standing up here to the Jamaican people and telling them that he need a stable on the economy and no way, no how that the people must allow you. Hey, look here. If you're on so stable, Andrew Holness, if you're on so stable and we have SSL, what happened if your hands are never stable, my boss?
My God.
What if your hand never stable? Think of it, Pastor Ricky. If this man's hands are so stable, right? And we have SSL, and they are covering up SSL. Because right now, you know, see that you cross-carry is not in Jamaica. You cross-carry lift up, and they in Canada. So then make sure they take for himself. You understand what I say? And the people them not get back their money. Nigel Clark stood in the parliament and to lie to us. You understand that they are making every effort. You understand? And some of the people start to get back their money. And what we learn now is that nobody get back any money. This government, trust me. Let me just in back and make another title.
So make a finish with Saga now because that time we just show you where him owe. But this is the next money where him owe. And look on it. Despite his criticism, Saga himself has a loan from the bank of about 22 million US. million, 22 million US, which has not been repaid. The details surrounding this loan are still unclear, but reports indicate that it was contracted by one of its companies. It was expected to be a part of its refinancing package, in which Saga debt at the CNB would be consolidated and converted to US dollar. But the opposition leader said the loan was missed, not only by the bank, but also by under continue. Same loan did miss. So him default pan fee loan them too. Enough money this man
money, $22 million.
In those days, I want to.
Well, I wait. And the same thing Dalrymple saying now. After
that, all of them use, brother. I'm gonna show you. Yes. So when we look on the wall of them and we study the wall of them, and we see them use but the same line I want trick people. I say only thing when I trick. Remember we have the wall of them now, you know?
Yeah.
We have files. We keep files. That's why we tell them say it don't make no sense because the PR when they come out with and let me tell them the next thing. It's so stupid. Very important. You see, Andrew, you see when you put more people, no care if them want to come from because you're Aquaman, out of your aquarium, out of your sea world or something. And it don't make no sense because one has say something and next one I contradict what you say. And I one another one. So when you have 1,000 of them, just we run yourself in them fact checking. Exactly. 2 cuts like go all over the place. And you can say something, Liegel Clark has said something, and then Christopher Tufton has said something there. So it look bad. People start checking, no, them are the fact checking. So all the lie them are gonna melt up. It don't make no sense. You say we are the best of myself and what? What you do? All you need for doing a brother. Look at if you Google me, you see from when me have record remember where DJ pass on before, but you see from me have record it's stamp on the record, me can't change it. Right. And if you take the record itself and look up your seat, it's stamp on it, me can't change it. It depends on the label and them thing there. See? Who have it, them have it. So me can't change it. Each year you put out something, it's there. It's stamped there. Gone in a history. So you know can come and pin something like it. I say 18.5 years. But we know we come out in a 1985, 1995, 96, 1990, 97. We know all of these things and we have them. And if you look at the agencies when it's established, you can't trick nobody.
Exactly.
It make you look bad. Yeah. Same so them come out with this too, you know. Them come out and say them bring down the rate to GDP.
Yeah.
We say bring it down too much. But them say them when them get it, it was 145. It look on it.
It was 115. 115.
No, the JLP them say them have it when them get it. It was 145. Them get it from the PMP. I mean, I said this is 2007. What does it look like to you? Them get it at 114.
Yes.
And then by 2008, what is 127? By 2009, them there. That's why them go back to them carry it at 141. By 2012, them carry it out of the blues. See that? It's in front of me, you know.
Yeah.
See that? See 141. See them here? See them here? 143. And see there? And them have it up there. And them remember them default on them debt, you know.
Yeah.
So 20 to 209, 141. She did 141 up. See the 139, 143 yard. So you see it? So when them get it in 2016, when them get it back, when the PMP get it, the PMP start reduce it, the 143.9. See it? When them get it from there. So PMP reduce it 138, 1.1 this. 2016 it was 113. 113 that them reduce it, get them. So all matter about him reduce it and him get it at 140 yard was a lie.
Yep.
Remember,
right?
So this is how them lie all the time, don't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have to all understand, you know, these people will ever tell lie and perform act of corruption. Because it seems like they have something in principle with the United States government. And it relates to we seeing what are in those documents that we read out early and dissect.
Yeah.
When you look at the amount of things that documents contain as it relates to corruption being orchestrated by the CIA and being given to Saga and its members to carry out in Jamaica, they must have something in principle that is protecting these Jamaican corrupted criminal politicians.
Yes.
US is not coming after them.
Exactly.
Well,
We have to start to, analyze things as we see them present themselves in front of us. These people know for a fact there is something in principle with the US law enforcement that they will not be pursued by US government for their corruption, illicit enrichment, and all these things that we see they're carrying out.
well,
So it's no surprise.
I wouldn't say that, Byron, because the US have a tendency for turn upon who them befriend.
That's true.
They befriend you for their
That's
interest.
true.
Them turn upon Noriega, Panama.
Yeah, that's
turn
true.
upon Willie.
Don't move faster. You see, Noriega, is a guy who deal with US and him deal with the drugs lad, them,
Right.
Yeah.
PSOJ, them a drugs lad, no for them in their drugs lad too. So US I watch them. And them not for them, let me tell you, US we use you, but for them country interest, them put country
interest. Right.
Yes. So you see, when you start break them interest, them have something to come for you. So
Right.
them go for Noriega in him thing down there, Them go for him and take him out. And
But
carry him. When them done with him, them send him a Europe.
why I'm up the opinion, Just look at what Nigel Clark did with the Bauxite levy. Him wipe it out completely and hand it back to them. That's the endorsement that they get back for the corruption.
But that's for a season, because when the
That's
US
a season, man. That's a season.
whatever you do with the
Yeah,
US,
but within that one season, it's worth a whole lot of money to the United States economy.
No. All right. So our backside life, and I see what's this. They may watch more like China and the world of that. The backside, because they might get backside everywhere in the US. That's how money deep value. They might get the dirt cheap. So I know, like, academy can be huge, huge. So line like what Liegel do. Liegel look at England for see a film skin. He might work for the IMF for deal with austerity measures to third world country. So he might just a water boy. So when them see them anger Africa, we and anger some other things somewhere, them like them kind of people that say, hey, make him carry water. So if one day we give him the driver's seat, he might angle him one people that way there. Him name house slave, brother. Yeah. Liegel is a house slave. Serious. Nothing more about a house slave. Him a water boy now, him not do nothing, Him a water boy. Carry the socks, them go from a back of water and them sit down and them pay. And them go and teach him because them say you're angry people, them listen. No new taxes, nothing like. No new taxes. Remember him tell us, own this, no new taxes for garbage, no new taxes for road, no new taxes for build nothing. And him do that, bring down the debt. Remember the debt itself not gone down,
Yeah.
The debt itself gone up. Because in that portion of time, we have a debt, I just service the debt, brother.
Yeah.
The debt, that 2.8 trillion. So I service the debt, and he never have a service it and carry it down so fast, and could I use the money there and build some faction and do something that we can pay to think better. So when do these things for get the work and run, maybe I run it from Andrew too, Because Andrew, he was a good youth, He never come from a kind of family there, Him got there after
You think about a good youth, lonesome?
Yeah,
Liegel Clark.
Man.
Liegel Clark a snake on the grass long time, man.
Well, no, but you see my run? You see my run now?
Snake on the grass.
Because hear this. The lies them when tell Andrew when they say him know say him a go to prison too, So him know say, you see it, Byron?
Yeah.
He know say they have a cut, And but before you cut it, they make it one so But the IMF, like the IMF team with austerity measure. If Jamaica are going good, listen. If you are going good, you go to the IMF and borrow money. If you are going good, you go to the bank and borrow money.
No.
Make it be an austerity measure. If you have your own and you maybe you want to open a bank and start.
You have to pay interest rate to the bank if you borrow from
it.
So it
Why you
wouldn't be.
not try borrow from some of the big man them in a Jamaica? Why you not try borrow from some of the big man them in a Jamaica?
That's what they should have done.
Wayne,
That,
Yeah,
Wayne,
yeah, brother.
may I send you something? I want you to just give me few minutes to show Jamaican people
Yes.
something when we talk about colonialism and
Yes.
neocolonialism. So I'm going to send you the documents and I want to put it up. I want the entire world to see the document. And if you can, might be put the link in the chat so people can get it for read, so that people can be educated when we are talking about this time as it relates to capitalism. So I'm going to send you the document.
Yes.
I have to put on the document for me. I'm going to read it out for the people. It's just that we have to educate our black people. You understand? Because it is very important for them to know this. You understand? And know their history. You understand? And know what happened to us. And even the current time as we are in this economic space. And you have to understand as it relates to IMF movements. Right? There is no European policy that is going to design, you understand, to take black people, right, out of their predicament. Right? Their policy is designed against us. And it is we who have to help ourselves. And that is one of the reasons why they destroy democratic socialism. Michael Manley was like Jesus walking in Jamaica.
True.
Michael Manley was like Jesus walking in Jamaica. So let us put up the document and make people see it. Now, give me a few minutes, Wayne, because they need to know this. Jamaica need to know this.
Now watch this. It's a Willie Lynch.
Yeah, I am not. Yeah, I am not. Yeah, I am going to go. Yeah, I am going to go directly. Go directly at the bottom where Willie Lynch start. I am going to stop you. Stop right there, Wayne. Okay. Just push me through, Wayne. Let me read it to the people why they need to understand this. Now, Willie Lynch, Untold Story, 1712. As our boat sails south on the James River, named for our illustrious king, whose version of the Bible we cherish, people. We want to understand even all of the King James version of the Bible, you know. Right? May I give a deep history now? I saw enough to know your problem is not unique. While Rome used cords of woods as crosses for standing human bodies along its old highways in great numbers, you are here using the tree and rope on occasion. I caught the whiff of dead slave hanging from a tree a couple of miles back. You are not only losing valuable stocks. This is what Willie Lynch is telling you now. You are not only losing valuable stocks by onions. You are
hold on. So make them tell them, just tell them what was the stocks. The stock, losing valuable stock. Because
the stocks for the
human being, you know.
Yeah.
Never count as human being.
We won't count as human being. So we want you to be edified by this.
Yes.
So here's Willie Lynch, right? Because remember, you know, Willie Lynch was in the Caribbean, right? He was placed in the Caribbean, so he went to the United States. You understand, to tell them, you understand, how to solve their slave problem, and that's why you need to understand why Haiti in this predicament. So let us read. I caught the whiff of a dead slave hanging from a tree a couple of miles back. You are not only losing valuable stocks by hanging, which is the slaves. You are having uprisings. Slaves are running away. Your crops are sometimes left in the field too long for maximum profit. You suffer occasional fires. Your animals are killed. Gentlemen, you know what problems are. I do not need to elaborate. I am not here to enumerate your problems. However, I am here to introduce you to a method of solving them. Scroll down. In my bag here, I have a foolproof method of controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if it is installed correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years. Now, more read this to tell you, even today, why black people are like who they are. No, my method is simple. Any member of your family, of your overseer, can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves. And I take these differences and make them bigger. On the year, people, I use fear. I use distrust and envy for control purposes. These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple little list of differences and think about them. Scroll down. On the top of my list is age, but it is there only because it starts with A. The second is color or shade. Now, people, I don't know if you understand when I talk about people look on the black skin and brown skin, and some people are bleach. Now, look at these things, what Willie Lynch is pointing out, right? Now, and the second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, size, plantation status and plantation, attitude of owners, whether the slaves live in the valley, on the hill, east, west, north, south, have fine ear, coarse ear, or is tall or short. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust. Now, people, when you see Andrew Holness going around spreading propaganda and making distrust, these are methodology that Andrew Holness, the Jamaican Labour Party, is using. And envy is stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration.
Yeah.
The black slave, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling and self-generation for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Let me explain that further. So when you have someone with brown complexion and someone with black complexion, the one who feels him brown, you understand, feels him better than the one that black. You understand? And we are Willie Lynch use it, you understand, for the plantation by making some of them house slaves and plantation slaves. So the house slaves, you understand, find themselves different from the plantation slave. So people might understand it. Hear this now. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male, and the young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark-skinned slaves versus the light-skinned slaves. People want to listen to this tonight, And the light-skinned slaves versus the dark-skinned slaves. So Andrew Holness and all of them who thinks that I'm brown, thinks that I'm better than we who dark. You must use the female versus the male and the male versus the female. You must also have your white servants and overseers distrust all blacks. People don't listen to that. You must have your male and the male versus the female. You must also have your white servants and your overseers distrust all blacks. All blacks. But it is necessary your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us. Now, gentlemen, these kits are the keys to control. Use them. Have your wives and children use them. Never miss an opportunity. If you use intensively for 1 year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful. Thank you, gentlemen. Right? Now, people, scroll down. Let's make a slave. Right? So then, you have to understand certain methodology. You understand? Now, when you hear like man like Warmington, Andrew Holness want to bring strife and war amongst us, JLP and PNP, let me say this to you all. We are one Jamaican. We are one Jamaican. Don't allow Andrew Holness. Don't allow Desmond Mackenzie. Don't allow Warmington to lead us into a political violence. Jamaican, I am warning you. Because as it relates to the principle of evil, principality in high places, the forces of evil set against us for them to continue to divide and rule us.
Yep.
And so then we must seek for education to better our people.
And resist it. Yep.
Right? The only way we can get through this time, that's why you have to listen to songs like Emancipate Yourself from Mental Slavery. None but ourselves shall free our mind. Remember the greatest emperor said, until the philosophy which holds one race superior becomes discredited and abandoned, until the color of a man's eye is no more significant
And the
as the color of his skin. What Willie Lynch had done, Willie Lynch had done this in slavery, ingrained it in our people. So then the ones who are brown, right, believe that they're better than the ones who are black. Recent in our history, black people, as we know, it couldn't even work in the banks in Jamaica. They couldn't.
Man, they change that, you know.
Michael Manley changed that.
And the airline stewardess have to be brown.
People, you must listen to what we are saying on the Titans. Don't make Jamaica Labour Party bring you down in a strife of war against your black brother. JLP killing PNP and PNP killing JLP, and guess what? They have the SSL money enjoying themselves. They are the ones who making sure right now you have people in Hanover, Westmoreland without water. Right? People of Jamaica, be wise. Don't go down into the political, you understand, disaster as it relates to what Andrew Holness is coming out with. Because as it relates to what Saga said, if he cannot get it by the ballot, he's going to get it by the gun.
Bullets.
Andrew Holness is now coming out, you understand, and talk about many men. Many men want him dead. Let me tell you something. We are not going down that road again. We don't want to see an Eden-type situation where 150 women that the Jamaican Labour Party had killed.
Massacred. My God.
Massacre.
Yeah.
So don't take us to your political violence, Jamaican youth. Stand resolute. Jamaican women stand resolute and avoid the dark evil of the Jamaican Labour Party. And I yield back.
All right, let me ask you a question. But so they have so much guns and them are promote violence, but we more reserved in humility and we don't want to respond to where them are doing. We see the drive-by shooting them. Majority of them are take place in a People's National Party area. So then how do we defend without not drawing ourselves into a conflict like in the 80s or the late 70s? What's the remedy you would suggest? Because you're saying avoid it, don't get caught up in it. But if them are perpetrated, then how do we manage it?
Let me answer that. let me answer that, Byron.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Simple thing, man. Because you see, first time we used to have neighborhood watch and all kind of things, right? And you have to know, let me tell you something, your enemy now come leave from with them there and come among you just like that for earth, unless you have some friend where a house slave. So you have to know them, you know. You have to know your finger them, you know. You have to know who is who and who is to sell out, you know, some Judas. Who only say I'm one Judas, you know. He sell himself. Right? So you have to know the Judas them. And them may beat you up. So you have to keep friend. Me call them, you know, my family. Because I'm not really that friend thing. Because you have people around you, chat, eat with you, and then them betray you too, you know. So you have to be careful of who. And then we carrying people for come hurt you and everything because them easy for buy out. Broke are hungry. And this is how the JLP love, you know. Find you can feed some people and them hungry and roast a cow and give them. That means them sell them brother, you know. And sell them mother. When you look on people called Dalrymple, me mother, una have mother, una disrespect on mother. Mother go up on her breast, carrying her for what, 9 months, and you call Dalrymple your mother? Dalrymple? For what? Give you some raw dirty thinking cow? You're sick. Eh? Think about the country. Think about the country. And yes. You understand?
If you know what is, you know, lonesome and panel, where the JLP try to do, you know, is disintegrate our people from real education and radicalize them with corruption.
Yes.
So that's why them are called Dalrymple, the mother. You understand? Because these people don't know anything better. They gravitate to the lowest. They gravitated to the lowest.
Yes. For food and out better. So you start, remember, you know, when these people are swearing, and we play it and run us over and play it and make them. When them are playing, when them are swearing, when them tell you, them as a servant of the people. Right?
Yeah.
Let us tell us something to, because people have fed more election. And I'm going to tell, I bet you call me today, I may explain, I might say, but you know, run election, I say, no, sorry, I'm going to tell you something. Make we just Willie Lynch use them there, make we use some other things now about solve some problem, right? So. You see, we're going over Portland the other day in the local government election. We don't really need enough foreign people to come down, you know. You stand up, you're great in numbers. Make the other side come great in numbers. That means everybody has saying everybody have phone, them can't rob you. So you see, in the general election I come now, no man, police can't run your home. When you make sure you have a car with have gas and everything, anybody ballot box are going, if I move from this year so, if you go to the counting center, you make a train of them. If I 100 car, you know, and bus, or make sure that cannot turn off if a police are what carry. Make sure it go there so in the counting center. And you know, leave. I watch on the phone and I listen.
Just keep the video upon them right along till it reach the electoral office where it have a count.
Because police have a way to come and say, when you go home, you can't tell me if you go home. Me I watch the ballot box like anybody else. You know, in the building, when the ballot box you come when it come out in the bar and you see it, you know. Exactly. So if it go in a blue car, it a go we are drive go there, you can't stop with them go. Because you can't turn off with it. And the both side can go, it's okay. So if you have 100 too much people, you have 100 people, so we are watch everything. We not
remember, you know, when the ballot box going inside of the building, remember them are the same people them kick out cafe and evict them from outside the polling station.
No, but you have PMP and JLP in there.
So then who's inside for watch what go on with the ballot?
No, but JLP and PMP, you know, and people have video it, you know. So
yeah,
but no, what
it's
them do?
not gonna make you go in on the building.
no, you know, I forgot in the building. But remember, you know, most of the time when them stuff them box, and when it depend the rate, like how Darrell say my play. Remember it like 5. And if you know the line, them cut off the line from it say 5. But in now as a people, you know, choose some ID, them a black book. So 9 o'clock after 9 to 10, them a vote.
That was the period when them used to stuff the box.
That should have not invite and you're there and say, no, this is not right. And if you want to go live and show, say, this have to stop now. Them are just coming in the line. You vote already. If them just come, it have to cut off and it have to cut off. Keep the time too. So what you do, remember democracy at work now, you know. Same like where you depend on a man overseas to come. Only the numbers will come from there.
Yeah. I support that initiative and that, you know, an idea, Wayne. Yeah, very good idea.
When you in the FRI, so if 10 of them in there, 5 are JLP and 5 of them are PMP, everybody look out for themselves. So they are look and watch themselves. But we outside I watch if you are sneaking anything. I go on the side and back. So we are there and watch the whole building. Police are sneaking anything, you're not supposed to in there, in there. We are make sure who in their account or in there. Can remember not the JLP alone are in there, you know. PMP are in there too, you know, better. You understand? And it have to count them, have to check it out, but nobody else now go in there. If they can't leave and move, you can go to a account center. You remember the other day in St. James, them say about ballot basket and over. We don't hear nothing else about it. You
No, we don't hear nothing. We don't hear box go down in a precipice.
We don't know that with them. Don't make them do these things again. So you know,
box a fly off on the road we in. Box in a car fly off on the road down a precipice.
So we are go and you have your own how much vehicle I want to go. So if you drive 10 miles, when I drive 10 miles, you have to see it deliver and it go in there, go in there. Nobody else. So if I got 10 persons, people supposed to go in there, 10 I want to go in there. 5 JLP, 5 PMP, for 20, no 40 out of them, and then 10 out of this now work.
No.
That's supposed to equal and balance. So it go by around.
Exactly.
Yeah? So
it have to be like that.
Take these things in your own hand. Same like me tell you something. You see, my kind of Willie Lynch and film kind of ways, me and my kind of ways. But hear this. If you see the one of this we're going all in our bus and a man coming in our bus about it, I just two enough people covered and them afraid to die. That's why the one of them is dead. Because there is no way a man can come in our bus with 40 people and you have a gun. And your head back turn and you juke the man here. If you get something like this, you can knock out, brother. Yes, tempo this name. Something to knock you across that and knock you out. But no, everybody afraid because they have a gun and queen job. So you can shoot and rob anybody and you're afraid. Remember, he may kill you, you know. Because you're afraid of him. But if you for rush him, how much shot him can squeeze off? It save life. Because you might have a crumble up because you say you're fear. Remember where I get to you and then him get for shoot to no one man, him have the bullet them and reload and shoot to no. And shoot
yeah, because by
crap and lock the door, where am I go? Where am I go?
Because basically when you crumple up and you literally surrender yourself, you know.
Alright, let me tell you the next thing. You see like when you see someone going in a car and you're going a passenger side and you have your gun or whatever, your pipe a man and say drive. No man can do me that, you know. Camera park my car. You can't go in a car with me and sit down in the front. Remember me I give a light post and me I give a truck or something. I remember me not slow down again, you know. Me done with you, you know. For me can I just tell you say when me I commit suicide and me remember me not fling my side, but a light post up on the side there so you over there so. I remember 100 hard mile per hour, I send it to the light post with where you sit down. As the sun shine, I send it to the light post. Because for me, get mad and say, can remember if I slow down in the shot and then I go in, brother. But through my head, when it kick in, me think different out of the box, me I can defeat you, you know. Can I mash it up? So if you survive, but you get all of the impact and most of the impact, and I run it. If me see a truck, brother, and the truck back, I just drive over so you know by around. And say it, you know. Just say your prayers. Father, we keep praying for you. Pray for you. I think different out of the box, you know. That's why I say I better stay in a wilderness, brother. You will not come with something to conquer. It's not going to work. So I better stay in a wilderness. Because when you're covered in a brother, you lose all. I see what's thing I tell you. You lose all.
Yeah, it's true, it's true.
What the next thing now with the PSOJ? Remember, them you want them like you, every man have one vote. And them are just a handful to the masses. The reason why them conquer the masses, them use money run through politicians and because the masses licky, same old slave again. That's why them get to conquer. Remember, them no more than you. You have your money, nobody cut your pass it. You don't have no power. Them don't really have the power. I remember the people who buy your goods, like Grace Kennedy and all of them, for only make more money. Let the people them get serious like me. But why cut the first 2 months I wanna done, you know? Una overhead too big. Baron, if you have a little kind of shop, you know, nobody happy, you alone in your shop. Maybe you show a little light up. If you have a company like Grace Kennedy, and thousands of people, and you now sell one thing and not at all, and you have to pay your monthly bill, Byron, them pay and everything, you going to go bankrupt in space of no time. I not ask you. Remember, you have to deal with shareholder, you know. People start get fired and all kind of things. People forget serious. Don't give them people a power over you. It's a handful of them. PSOJ are shit. Me telling you all the time. But you know, when you talk them way, they may say, hold on, you have them kind of thinking the yes. Because we not try to conquer. Remember, you know, we have come from down there and we study our slavery and we study Willie Lynch and we study the one of them things where them use conquer people. We have to you know, counter that.
Yeah.
See, we're not supposed to make UNO at PSOJ. We're not vote for nobody. Our rule and we don't go to prison. Listen, same like when you have one voter, you can't. Them can't put in a government in a power in a by one. By vote, you know. So when
they're in the minority. They're in the minority.
Them soft, brother. If you don't have nobody for buy them vote, them not have no saying that PSOJ can't chat to you.
Yeah.
And if them pay them right amount of money, them should have get taxed more, you know.
Yeah.
You cannot make them billions and you know, tax them more, brother. Eh? And ease it off for the poor. Why give them concession? Why you give them these kind of you have to stop. Give some people barrel free to people and make them go in, brother. You understand? Doctor can't feed with people and do all kind of things. Stop your foolishness. See? Stop make them go like them is this cat pajama. They are not. Them just a big load, brother.
Yeah, man, they are neocolonialists.
Lonesome, I have a question. So yeah. Nigel Clark had some unregulated foundations, 3 of them, that was implemented to help the community, and it looked like him spend that money during election time in 2020. So now that him a leave, do you think that he might have turned over money to Imperium for continue that strategy for poor donations that them collect in a them foundation for fund them election campaign? Because did he dissolve? Anybody have any word? Did he dissolve his foundations?
We don't hear anything of that, Sat.
Yeah.
Right. So where the money when collect the donations? Because
no, but
the period of 2018 to 2020, him raised 91 million, according to Zara Burton.
Okay, let me send that to because I have the information here.
All right, no, just read it. No, it's all right. I know about it. But what we are saying, you cannot read it. But let me say something to them. Them supposed to have book and them supposed to have things with them keep. And then if you do that, they're supposed to declare some things and things, even if you not here, certain things on that, but it's supposed to declare. So if them not do that, now you have break some things on there, and if them use it for themselves, them have break some things on there, people get charged for it, simple as that. And then like come and talk to KD the other day, like Andrew Holness. You remember when them order the police but go and lock him up and them go lock up the youth on Flatbridge? The Prime Minister knows so you cannot order the police to do these things. You're just like a normal citizen. It is there. I mean, the police him can't order them to do these things in a by one.
Yes.
But he might do it. He might break laws.
Yeah, earlier, Pastor Ricky asked a question as it relates to some PNP constituency coming under attack.
Right.
And wish the might be the perception out there, the narrative out there, you understand, that it could be JLP persons attacking, right, those communities. But however, and I think what Ricky was asking, how those persons can be able to protect themselves. That was the question you're asking, Ricky, right?
Right, without that picking up the gun and have a clash like back in the late 70s.
Okay, so here what happened now in terms of my experience in certain strategy in terms of dealing in certain investigation. Now, in every community in Jamaica, every community, and I hope some people are listening to me. Now, your phone is very important, and if every community can create, why hear what I'm saying, Ricky?
Yeah, man.
If every community can create what you call a WhatsApp group, that WhatsApp group supposed to have, right, the superintendent of police who connected to that WhatsApp group. I'm just suggesting something as it relates to hyper alert and being safe for communities.
Right.
So when you create these WhatsApp group, right? Every WhatsApp, each community that create that WhatsApp group, right, must have 100% awareness, you understand, of his or her community. Now that WhatsApp group is going to have, right, the superintendent, right, that in charge of that particular area or that particular zone,
Yeah.
right? Now simply means that a quick text can send to that person, right? And that person can respond in terms of that regards. Now, remember that for persons who in that particular area, they know the area well. So if, like you say, a new vehicle comes in, right? That for precaution, you understand me I say? In terms of the hyper alertness, in terms of what we are seeing now, is to make sure that that information disseminate throughout the WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like
so that
a neighborhood watch. It's like a neighborhood watch that they have in America.
It's a neighborhood watch. It's a neighborhood watch.
Yeah.
But faster utilization with technology as it relates to your phone. You understand? Right. So each person who lives in the community should be able to join together, you understand, and be in that WhatsApp group. You understand, where you can communicate. So if somebody hears something over Marstam house, you understand, somebody can send it in the WhatsApp group. Now, if the WhatsApp group of 5,000 or what the amount of people who live in the community, because in my community, you understand, we make sure say we have a WhatsApp group. Although my community in Jamaica, it's a gated community, right? So what we do, we connect in terms of WhatsApp group, in terms of any strange vehicle coming in. Do we our community set up? You can't just come in the community. You understand? You have to be screened because you have to pass through security before you venture in. You understand? So the security have an awareness who you are come to and so forth. You understand? And so then the security will have to call. If you come to me, you understand? The security will have to call me, you know. You understand? And me say, well, all right, give you access. Several communities in Jamaica are not like that. You understand? But we are talking about people who live in open communities. You understand? People must learn to live together, socialize together. You understand? For the betterment in terms of safety. So when you have a WhatsApp group, 15 or 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 people in the WhatsApp group, anything that you see, you understand that suspicious, any form of suspicious behaviors, anything, any vehicle that new coming in, you understand, you supposed to can capture that, you understand, send it in the WhatsApp group, you understand, and so then people can be wary. Because what if you have a car coming in and somebody, you understand, look out and see the car and can take a snapshot and send that in the group. You understand? Might be you can alert persons who need to be alerted. You understand, in terms of protecting the community. So you have to use technology, you understand, in terms of that. Me can't go tell people, say, watch out. You understand, go deal with arms and deal with certain things like we want to create violence. We don't want to create that. You understand? We say we want to go through a peaceful election.
And as I say, most people still, yes, not come to that when we see even the shoot. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I want still. Most of them big shooting, and I really have a coming over one panic, and I really say for politics. Them not really to listen to them punk, you know. Yeah, them not really listen to them, but we have some youth and some of them they have foreign and them us. And then with them do know whether you come from JLP or PMP part and them know and them power and thing and something go down, them love send for people and that will stop because if you are send for your man, brother or sister, remember your brother and sister there too, you know. And if you are police, remember your people there too, you know. But them not think. Them think say them alone are Superman, so you are send for the man, the family, and you have family there too. What if a man seek out and know your family thing? You know man have something, just keep it, you there foreign. Don't send a Jamaica go kill off nobody. And do this when you have people there too. Look for the man where your name have something. Well, listen, you see your brothers and sister, yeah. Remember, one have in common, you have brother and sister. You have your own family, you have your own wife, you have your own sister, kids, them and everything. You have brother and sister, just that in common. Me can't tell my mother and my father who forget that their brother and sister, them get them already. So it don't make sense. You don't know where your brother to, your sister who one day, man, who one day when you look him come to you. And him have mother and father same and everything. So you see, that's why we believe in you come with one, you get 100-fold. Them to stop that too. Because if a man knows, so when you do this, you get fast and swift response. Same way you come, but you get 100-fold, him stop it. Him go sit down and then him have to watch himself too. Them to stop this. You want a man, you want a friend and him grab you, or you and him run up and down. Keep it to yourself, that's so. Don't go for nobody and search them out. And at least go on in Jamaica, you know. More than one time, man pay to get with a man. Another tag one. And about the politics itself. Because them are really take no talk from no Queenie and no sperm whale and them things.
Okay.
Sometimes when you see all the way at the area, when you dig deep, because I'm a hear a lot of things, but certain things nobody even comes up on this. You know what go on the ear, what go on this, so them carry it a yard. Them need to stop it because them can't get you, Byron.
Yes.
Them Byron have a sister, you know. Your sister never see her 10 years, 20 years ago. I just a sister. And I'm on the debate and see her and one I say, remember these things to stop. It's stupid.
Exactly.
You have to tell the youth them how not do a idiot thing. It's stupid. You have to stop it. Yeah? And the man more powerful. Hey, we see this thing up now. All right. These things play out to where east already, but we see man lose them mother, you know, and them pick me, you know. And when I inquire, because you said that man there, will kill a man, a baby mother and a mother-in-law, and leave a little baby, then I want to know, go back around this, and the woman be dead, and me repair the house. Back in the days. The woman be dead, them she 80 yard, you put her off a kneel down and you knock her, and then you knock the youth son, him run go to sell her, him run 9, 10, and you knock him too, because your baby mother dead, and what have you. So it causes, so these things, it do happen. You understand? But you call the man and you tell him, somebody just kill the baby mother and I kill her mother too. And you say the retaliation, same time it's swift. But these things should not happen. You understand what I say, Ricky?
Yeah, but
important thing.
They might try to start a civil war because you have some bloggers from here or some things.
No, brother.
I know you don't hear that, but they might plant some things. And then when you have Desmond McKenzie, I say, when you take the streets, it's like they must sell some.
No, you know what? I listen bushrat, man. I can't tell you this. Let me tell you what some of them people, they want clicks and likes. Be a dip on the ground, brother. So, all right, let me tell you something. You know, so that's why we not follow some things. You know how much time some people, when they might just book up, them put out something and it's wrong. Me know it wrong, you know. But you know, come and talk on these things, but talk about government and them things there. Me hear them talk about things and not east. And me I tell you, say, listen, me can't tell them 100%. Me hear them talk about other things. Me have to carry people from my program, but just prove them wrong. Them wrong. And more than one time, them come and do these things. And I hear this for them to know. You have some people put out some story, right? A man, a youth call me from Olympic way the other day. And I know me not pay my mind. Because me know people all over the place. And then that him said to me, boy, how they don't do this and that. Remember, you know, you just get my number and call me and I call some people name. Think me are one of them that I call people name. And also it works for me. That no works for me. Because most of the time, the enemy, we see this happen. Them man do things and then them call police and police come do things and when police can, then the people them get raped. We know, remember I come from Ghetto, I come from East Kid. I know the whole of these things. So sometimes a man call and I give some information, you know, and call up a man name. That man in the center where them a give, you know. So them call up a man name, but you don't verify nothing, you just want to do a blog.
Yes.
And get up the people then. So a man say, hey, a man does mash up a thing and say, but other man that kill boy one. Sometimes a man and a man a friend from foreign. And the blogger them put it out. And then when you look at it, cause these kind of people cause more war and more death more than anything else. Believe it or not. Because they mix up a lot of people, brother. And a joke me I make. Them now have no way for verify. Them just get a phone call and a man just say boom boom, but you don't know say is a man a play devil's advocate. You don't know nobody if you go link and verify, but you put it out. And the man just send a picture because him are the killer, you know.
Yes.
And he move with the killer them in and the more get out him enemy. So him just push out some man. Police hear that them a come kill it to some beat up some man. Them a do it enough. So most of the time them a do more harm than good. We know. I don't have no time for these things.
Yeah.
So we do brother, me stop some of them, you know. But me can't bother with that. You notice me not depend them kind of wow, my thing them have to solid, brother. We not do tabloid. them for stop. So them push out some man name, and then when it start, you see with the same thing when you just read about Willie Lynch, brother. You see when that start, yeah, you quantify it. You just go and multiply it up and go and send it round, and then people hear it and that. Yes, how you know? How you move? Them can't think out of the box. You understand? So them do it and it cause a lot of people for dead. A man dead and a man just push a man just call and say yes, and a man they do it too, because on yes, and I mash up the man there. And he mash up the body. But some man want and them start call up a man name and a man and say, yeah, man, come claim my name now because me hear my name. Me see man I come out and say, but police put up my picture and say me, and me never even did this, so what have you? It have enough. Them need for just stop the tabloid and do the right thing. Because remember, you have family where get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make sure you think right. But I'm not deal with them things, brother. I mean, no. Because I hear enough cases when me the man me talk against it because I say, but this not right, Because the whole of this, me know about the whole of this, Me know about that. And I can't tell them from A to Z. Can't tell me what. Who involved? You think them not talk to me? A lot of people talk to me, You see? I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
See? So when you hear something and say, when you have eyewitness to, So, and there's somebody attack to you. You have much different eyewitness attack to me too, And then one who know everybody. So, but when we hear some case, some people say, them look here, them put out this, all this, and I say, channel. I make you talk on this, we some go beat up some people by the mind still, but this is beat up people, See? It beat up a lot of people. And then police sit down and listen to that and go for some people and kill people too. We not no go so. We can't tell them so not no go so. We can't show them so not no go so.
Yeah.
So you have to watch your enemy within, yeah? Man a war and then him just say, we can't call them man that program. Them try to put me that up to the other day. That don't work. Or maybe come give me some people when me know the place. You don't know some know the place. You just come and say, Father, the money, I know. And boom, bam, bam. What you think? Your father, so you're going to put out this to my father. Put out what? You look like them kind of little man. They were going. Remember, we know the place. My champ put it. Them never know my champ put the place before them all have ban and them thing. And I know people in that place. So you can't, mislead my man. I don't renegade this man. Fly me eager man. So me not do it. But it cause a lot of things and tension. And some people like the likes that they can run with it and then just put out something and it run. That brother. Most of them politicians, them not have the power to start certain things because them not really listen to them, But you have some man overseas, them a pump money in some things, and this are true. Them a pump money in them thing there. And them a do some little thing but evil. Them a hustle and something go on bad and then them send for this and this. That for start. And then when them do them try hustle up man go in a Bahamas and then hustle them go across. I try to get them to move go somewhere else or do some things. So them do a lot of that too. Because we see it. We know what going on, Yeah. Remember me renegade, me just not talk about certain things. But we know what going on. Yeah, and it cause not people for that too, Get a call up some different people named and it needs to stop.
Yeah,
them now have no strength, boy. I think people are listening to Bushwater and listen to Joe. So them say no, them don't want it.
We need to find out. On a serious note, though, we need to find out about Nigel Clark foundation. Them.
Well, we can look it up because it's
really find out if him dissolve them or him still a collect money. Because at them foundation and them used to ramp up them election campaign, So when money come in, them used to promote all the by-election them and the general election and pay for buy vote. So we want to know if him foundation them when regulated. Have they been dissolved since him leave Jamaica now and gone at the IMF? And we need to find out the Prime Minister Foundation them to Imperium and Positive Jamaica. Because them get money for coming through them, whether dirty money or clean money.
Clean Prime Minister, we're talking about we're talking about MP and run through that.
No.
Anything we have the same
them election money where them are you. Because them are gonna flood election with millions of dollars,
Yeah, but tell me one now. Most of the big one, them for the money now gonna wait. And when you flood the election, it does not work. Because most of the people are 3-1 and you cannot buy them, they might take the money and don't vote for you. So right now, Drunko Tompa jacket up problem, Because they must have put up fence now. He's spending much money and the people them not come vote for him and them have some problem. Right now. You have problem. Yes, him have problem, man. Him and them have already, you know.
Yeah.
Because he must have family of 5 and them take money and like them not go vote. And one but I think some Tumper Jacket have some problem with people, right?
Yeah, and he should have problem because him should not have used money to, garner these people vote.
Right.
Yeah.
But we know that the ruling party will always throw a lot of money at general election because they always have the PSOJ behind them.
Yeah.
And the PSOJ are trying to protect their legacy.
And
As they are seeing it diminishing in front of them as we speak.
Yeah.
Because they done and the support has revealed, the
Yeah.
whole true potential of the Jamaica Labour Party losing by a massive landslide.
Exactly.
So the only thing they have at their disposal right now is to use money to influence the election and the electorate. But I mean, our platform has been here to guide the people along the way. Because you can't look for just a belly full today and you starve and hungry for the next 4 years and plus. So the real true identity of a general election is to elect people to govern and to keep peace and security in your country and to move your life forward and your kids' life.
Right.
So I mean the onus is on the electorate, those who are eligible to vote, to make that wise decision and to avoid themselves from being, attracted to the as we know it should be, these lots of issuing out of money.
Yeah.
Just move away from that now. If you want to have a future going forward, you have to move away from this handout, scenario that has always been playing out. And what I've seen in the local government election, I've seen PMP, going and performing as they should, using what they have in terms of what they will offer the people as a solution. But the JLP was there vote buying. But I cannot see one PMP member of parliament or activist doing that, illicit game that the JLP was playing, vote buying. So we know that that's what they will try to do come September and leading up to September. So that's why we have to be, as Pastor Ricky said, do a bit of investigation into Nigel Clark and,
Foundation.
all the things that the
Still
foundation them.
Is it
Yeah,
still
because
Yeah.
because we know they will try to fuel the money, the dirty money through these, foundation. Because they have done it, throughout the years.
But like,
It's nothing new.
like what me I say, but if we just talk to the people, them and if you because right now them try it in the last election and it not work. When them so much people that rise up on them can't believe it, like them shock. And them say them might change up because them spend the money,
Yes.
But they expect that kind of swing because them feel so them have the thing locked. Can I remember, Agintai, so I go whip them, Agintai, but what I'm saying?
Yeah, but lonesome, you have to remember, say, maybe the last election was a sprat, but this time they will come with a snapper. Snapper might tempt the people.
lose the election, arrest them vulnerable for prison. So them will do everything for staying in power. Remember that.
No, but
right.
What am I gonna do? Because it's when people tired of you, even if you go drop a house of them foot, that's why Andrew Holness can't get away, Even drop a house of them foot, them still run away, I Jamaica, remember, when you vex and you're tired of Andrew, you see the amount of money you have and them things, and the amount of money gone, them we and them. And then when them come, Radam, 15 years, you never hear no prime minister behave them kind of weird and them thing there. You're dying for moving. You know, I have 21%, thing not popular. Not at all. Say my pata cat. Who roll them to kill, all kind of things. Where you are keeping up to see Valley, they burn him. Me never tell him because they know say even people that the whole place about him,
Yeah.
As time for them get rid of him, Him
Morant be about him too.
Well, we know everywhere about him.
can't buy
But, you know, we know that.
A lot of
go and get them people for them when them know
you have a lot of people. You have a lot of people who are concerned about the election as it relates to if we are going to have you know, an election that is going to reflect truthfulness as it relates to the voters.
Free and
To be
fair.
honest, I am not weary about that. To be honest,
neither do I.
and let me tell you why. Because remember, you know, People's National Party are not fooling.
No.
And remember, say Mark Golden, right? You have Dayton Campbell, and you have some PNP lawyers who are powerful, right?
Thanks.
Remember, they'll be anticipating all the moves that
I'm gonna preempt it, yeah.
preempt it. And let me tell you something. The general election, right, are going to be, to me, as it relates to the result, right? The Jamaican Labour Party is not going to get the time of day to tamper. Because remember, you know, the example that set in local government election, we have seen some gaps. And those gaps, the People's National Party, as it relates to, I have discussion, you understand, with some candidate as it relates to that concern as well. Yeah, you understand? And I was assured, let me say this, you understand, as it relates to certain preparation, you understand, that anticipate to put in place.
Yeah.
So what I want to say to the people, go and vote. Your votes are going to be counted.
And no with that. We just tell them, Byron, we now go home.
Yes.
We don't depend on the compo, but I watch when the ballot box a move, I watch it. If you move from here, so, and it will go down there, so we are a caravan.
Maybe they don't understand, because guess what? Even people outside of Jamaica is going to monitor that. Because remember, you know, a lot of people,
yeah, of course.
all right. As it relates to me, you understand, in certain area, right? Monitoring outside, you know, of Jamaica, you have Google Earth accessibility. You understand, where you can zoom in. You understand, you can you get information on the ground. You understand, Google Earth information can zoom straight in. I mean, from the location, pick up as it relates to, you understand, that sort of coverage and cover certain. Look here, all what I say, me not have to say too much. Jamaica Labour Party can't thief the election.
They know that. Them can't thief it.
Let me say something else, Byron. Let me tell you something else, Byron. You see, in a 2020 election, I know we win election, you know. I just the people, them, the PMP, them never come out.
Yeah.
So when the landslide, let me show you something. In 2016, I'm not going to show you the difference. Andrew have the writing on the wall from then I'll see my run half him up. In 2000, remember, you know, if you with him, instead of you leave the PMP that go over inside him that go up. In 2016, you have out of nearly 2 million people registered for vote. Them have 2.8 million now. Them have the JLP popular vote, 437,000, couple hundred. PMP, 430,000. Just 7,000 the difference. In the 2020 election,
yes,
JLP come out, spend money through SSL, CMA and everything. Because some about money spent at the 2016 one too, you know.
Yeah, man, both you know that.
One guy tell them how the money spent on it, and then watch money through that and through some other thing, but we know. The ego fly, so we know. So hear this now. When you hear them as a lunchtime, listen. Most of the people never come out, them have a division, you know, them have a, yes, the party have some faction business. The
internal affairs differences, yes.
And then coupled down with the pandemic. So, you know, the PMP people, them have sense. Them now come out in that. So, in everything we're going, you have 300,000 votes. And them 300 almost 20,000. Like they move them like 100 and something thousand never come out on the PMP side. Remember, you know, and I come out and I like them that stay home. But I like them switch can to Andrew get any more votes. You know what? Andrew spend one bag of money when him get in. PSOJ, you know much vote him get in 2020? Make I tell you, 407,000.
Yeah.
Him lose 30,000 plus vote. So when you win with 2,000 and them thing there, that alone get the what? If
Yeah,
the
that's
people
true.
that come out for PMP, normally if never this PMP win him. Because if the normal amount when it come out, him lose 30,000 votes in a same win with some little thing by win. So most of whom they put up all when Peter Bunting them lose. Remember there are some shit and dark shit winning up. Had some baggage winning up better. Yeah,
remember,
no disrespect. I see what's thing. When you see like George Bang them can't sign nothing and something and Westmore when near more lands and some filth and them thing that win. Them they call
Yeah,
them
man.
baggage.
That's true, man. That's true. That's true. Because that's true lonesome. That's true you talk.
When they put candidate,
bigger
they
than
put
the
one
JLP.
in a safe seat. And then put the baggage out there so like the baggage that they filth and they cesspool them.
Yeah.
And when you see them come up and say, but win, them now, go say them are blow away again, man. Them people see what going on and them say, make him go on half a more. When you hear them say lunchtime, my mind them and say, listen, you gonna lose 30,000 votes. Andrew not popular, you know. And it make it worse. Him starts a corner shop. Wanna look at what? No, Prime Minister never talk to nobody. So plus, him line himself with gold and diamond with taxpayers' money. You think people are that better?
Yeah.
Fellas, don't think people are that. So then when up and down, the money couldn't. If the money could have helped him, that 2020 can't spend it.
Yeah.
Him spend it and still lose. And then in the help him, then spend it
But
again.
local government election win. Let's spend a lot of money in a local government election and
Yeah.
still lose.
Yeah.
If them spend the money, them that's why they matter about. All right. Shakira come out and say, people are bad vote and 2 million want to play vote. I hear him now. Although, me help some youth and them some seat and them beg because me expect them to vote for me. No. If you're the mayor, you don't give them something to expect them to vote for you.
Right.
If he's a fussy, if he's a punk, and the youth them say you do something wrong, and you have some check where you go in and ask you prepare some check where them people, there are some dead people and some other people and some people in the work I get check name. The police people them come pick it up. Remember we know about it in a center and St. Mary. So when you do these things and you them see what go them now vote for you. So them come out, we expect them for vote for you because you expect for buy a vote. So I tell you, we are telling the youth them don't and them I eat that send them for those come vote for you, madman. Are you crazy? Very rude.
But the
Not
people
when the Titans is in operation.
base bigger than the JLP base by far, you know. It's
By
just
far, like 3 to 1.
so if the turnout now, the robust the turnout machine turnout, then them in a landslide defeat.
Nobody them will learn. So if you they are Jamaica and you see a guy like Andrew Holness when I have nothing and him all alone and then him couldn't even pay for cook food to feed them guests when they married 97 and then now nothing and him said 92 now. Listen, him can't pay him loan.
Right.
And you understand and by 2011, 2012, I said this guy, him wife, go get peace of land, she couldn't pay for now 800 million. She invests.
Exactly.
So sure you with them people them eat that, you know. So front of if me could have paid 22 million for the land, me have pay it. And me have build it from then. You couldn't build it. Again tie. Have the man, see him up at Gibraltar, the same of the place where they have everything pay for much thing. You're rich, you know.
Exactly.
And I talk about IC. Nobody of them rich. Them have gas station, them have all kind of things out for the people them back who need to take it where.
Yeah.
And then them use peer shell company and you must say, move the veil from the shell company. Them I eat that.
You have
Them
to see.
we not play with them around that. We are the Titans around here, you know. We not play with people. You know tell them by
Exactly.
you know tell them like Titan.
All right.
We not play people around here.
And freeze all of them bank account and seize every asset and put it back in the economy.
Well, I tell you something, Ricky, and I tell you something, Melting Pot, we are waiting until after November 7.
Yes.
People. After November 7, no problem, because we know the court kick out the application there, but
Byron, so the court, where I tell me, the court now, I gotta take some money, the judge, I gotta do, Sykes, me know you watch me. The court, I gotta take some money and say, no, you, Andrew, no come in with illicit enrichment. And the same law you use against the youth, them where you say a scam and all and all kind of things.
Exactly.
They get the money from society. So if you do that now, all them do is get a lawyer and say you can't ask for about money, you know. And then they do all of the youth them now start to shell company and put the money when them grab it and do all kind of thing. And you can't stop them. So that is a bigger private company. And you couldn't stop them. You couldn't get this money from them.
That money what the government sees too.
Yes.
Exactly.
Give them back their money. So right away, Holness to please himself. He want to let go the whole of them youth and turn the place in one big dirty criminal.
Yeah.
The US are just come pick them up. Him can't get let go of this. Not even Dalrymple. Because coming like them buy out a judge and what a judge for December. That judge with 8 charges, if you ever come here, remember, you know, we are watching, you know. You little piece of shit. Let me just tell you, because we know I'm pronounce, you know. We just tell you, kind of for them are nastiness, you know. We know put them, you know. This a court case. Get that implication, I gone through the court. She should have done a GP. Them keep.
Long time. Long time. And I mean, I'm just trying to, you know, echo the sentiment once again. Trelawney people, Dalrymple is not bigger and greater than Usain Bolt.
That's right.
And Dalrymple represent a party that has damaged Usain Bolt as it relates to his wealth that he go through blood, sweat, and tears to accumulate as a track and field athlete. Greatest.
Yeah.
So, under no circumstance, Dalrymple not supposed to contest no farmer election in a Jamaica. And Dalrymple not supposed to be a free civilian. She should be behind bars. Because Dalrymple has owed 1.6 million on a car that she claims she don't know anything about.
Right.
And Dalrymple has robbed a family of their inheritance for over 40 years and haven't given them a cent and sold the property to family members using fictitious papers. So this woman is not credible for no office. Neither the justice system as it relates to she being an attorney at law or our parliamentary system as she becoming an MP. So I just want to reiterate once again, get rid of Dalrymple. She's not good for Trelawney. She's a damn disgrace to Trelawney. And she will be a further disgrace to Jamaica. The world is watching. And you can have somebody that, I mean, get allowance for a motor vehicle, but don't know anything about the motor vehicle. Telling blatant lie that she never owned the motor vehicle. She not use it, her sister, all type of shenanigans. But she benefit 1.6 million.
Yeah. It is the same thing.
And then in no time, when the allegation as it relates to she not declaring her asset in the appropriate manner, she went and sold the vehicle. What that is telling the public at large, this woman is a compulsory criminal. She is a compulsory criminal. She cannot take her hands off criminal activity. And she's a liar. She's a pathological liar. And she's a disgrace to Jamaica. And she should be behind bars long time ago.
Like she and the Prime Minister have something in common, you know.
I said it before.
Her statutory declarations for those 5 or 6 years with the vehicle, the Benz from 2015, they haven't been certified. Just like the Prime Minister, 3 years of statutory declaration hasn't been certified. So when him said him don't know why she resigned, I lie Mattel. I mean, that was a disingenuous statement. Him know why she resigned. The reason why she resigned because him didn't want to elevate him wife for cover up him crimes. Number
right,
one.
put him wife in the speaker seat.
Right. Them preempt that and no say.
No, brothers. Well, I know. Me got hear this now. The man not smart, you know. Andrew, let me tell him something. Byron, Titan, let me tell him something. If too smart, you know, say you're catapult, right?
Yeah.
You don't even want to take your wife and put in politics. Much less you want to put her in a seat. Because when you do, you expose her now. And when you expose her now, because I remember if she's not a politician now, she could have master of the thing for you and where say, you hold but you draw your wife. And oh, you're so fool. Then let me show you expose her, you know. You have 28 account of your wife and name it. We don't say her name panel. We say some people are working in your office and some man. Yeah? Some Juba tone and some sitting. You and them about your wife this week to like 28, 27 years. And some man dip on your account and all kind of things. What kind of thing this? That mean you not hide something. Shall bill pays 28 million more and see the account where the money come out.
Yeah.
800 million more and see the account them and them thing there. No account with you. And you have your own thing and your own thing and you're still, when you have file with the IC, everything when you and your wife have when you file in 2018, 2019, and 170 million.
Yeah.
And now she have 800 million thing a plate and you have 473 million around two book, plus so much more million and then the next 4.8 million plus you have 43,000 US, that are 21 million again and plus the next the world, so the two of them combined, like I say, forget catch. Everything I show. Your wife so smart that she can woman for a little piece of land and go tell we say she have 800 million investment. 800 million. We never ask her, you know.
Arrogance got the better of them, man. Arrogance and power got the better of them.
Great.
But
yes,
when you have the Prime Minister, right, came out and said that he doesn't know why the Integrity Commission is not certifying his statutory declaration, because everything what the Integrity Commission investigators asked him for, you understand, he handed it to them. That is a blatant lie. That is a blatant lie.
Oh, see them somewhat.
Exactly. Where the investigation based on what we have read, and where any persons who read the report, what the Integrity Commission investigators are saying, the director, what the director of investigations are saying, that they couldn't go further, right, in terms of making a determination because it's that the Prime Minister is not responding as it relates to his source of wealth. And so then they have to hand it over to FID.
Right.
So they are not getting the information as it relates to the Prime Minister's response, as it relates to the Prime Minister's source of wealth. Right. So then, the Prime Minister, you understand? Well, I mean, Andrew Holness is a pathological liar, you know, pathologically mendacious.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right, brother. More zero this. What if zero it, you know, someone got eat me thing down, but what for kick it? I want to name Draws Davis.
Yeah, Draws Davis running about ISAT. However, big labor right him want to enter politics, taking over from Miss Lashy. So,
I think he was but hey, let me tell you, first of all, Draws Davis, Green Draws Davis, and Big Mama. Two of them are garbage. Because this guy is not no radio, nothing, you know. This guy is a political porn.
Yes.
Not porn, you know. Porn. Political porn. Yes. For Big Mama.
Yeah.
Two of them are political porn. Right? When they attack the IC, no attack ISAT. No way you attack ISAT for now. You look at this and want to compare ISAT. It's a successful story.
Exactly. Rehabilitation, re-entry in society. I make a country.
Enough more you go through this. You go a jail, make mistake when you're 17, you're young and thing. This after commander, them done not pana from Mossy 1900.
Yeah.
Fear egg them done pana. She a liar from before we get combined go bad. Yes? This woman a liar, you know, from long time, you know. From Willie Lynch time. She a liar.
Yeah.
I will on that. This woman, yeah. And yesterday she do a study. And remember, you know, she led the state at all. And she come there and sit down there, so. And she come here and thief for taxpayers' money. She get the concession from, she save over 2.8 million. She don't know the car nothing at all. But she collect money for the
2.1 million.
Four. Yeah? And she don't know the car, but she lies in insurance for 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19. Remember, this suit wasn't a liar.
Right.
This suit changed him life, do him time, free up. Him could have sit down on a fire gun and then what people put in a cemetery before him dead. Him changing time. She ever got privy council because she have maybe wait up herself because she don't have no egg or no. I told you drop
Hey.
Let me say this real quick. Isaac Buchanan, big up yourself. You need to write a book. Your story is what we preach. Your story is what we preach. Theme story are what we preach to youths when we do prison ministry. So them get that up, them make some youthful indiscretions and then pay the price fee. So now them get rehabilitated and re-entry back into society and make a contribution. Prison is a revolving door. We all know that. The high rate of people going back into prison 5 months or less after them come out is a high rate percentage. So the fact that this man did law, paying price, them debt to society, did law, and is now making a contribution back to him country, that's a huge success story. Hey, that's $1 million book set, best book seller right there, so man.
But
this is what the government
embrace. So him a star. Not Dalrymple, that Rick Van Winkle. You know, Rick Van Winkle very, very old. Rick Van Winkle. Yes? Rick Van Winkle. So where Draws Davis want to compare. Draws Davis used to talk fast, right? Now him and Big Mama have the same tone. Like them as Siamese twin. Him and Big Mama tone like me don't know. The same way Big Mama, the same tone, them work out for the same tone. I don't know if them stitch it together. But at the same tone and the same thing, the energy, bad energy, but them are push. The two of them together. Yeah? Maybe them have to work together because the two of them have the same tone now. Same way them talking about that. The same tone.
Yeah.
Same tone.
Yeah, we understand the methodology.
Yeah, same tone.
Yeah. Clear. But one other thing, you know. One other thing, you know, this ISAT revolution, you know, where you see them are trying to stir up, you know. ISAT is here to revolutionize Jamaica justice system because in Jamaica justice system is a whole heap of friends and colleagues that run it. You don't have any, it's very few people working in the justice system that will do something to its, you know, maximum capacity as it relates to justice being done, justice being served. Equality. The majority of them corrupt. But with ISAT now emerging, and I mean emerging on one of the biggest stage and performing well, and outshine one of their counterpart who they use as their corrupt element. Now they see themselves in trouble. Because ISAT is gonna, you know, move all of them criminal cases so them get and rob the ghetto youth them. But over theme side.
You flap that, you know, Santa. Strike 5. You flap Santa, man.
Yeah, this couldn't manage ISAT, man. This can't manage, this don't know not about law. This is a person who them, you know, aid and abettor through the system. She wasn't a person who qualified for even all the officer DPP. She was just a corrupted tool that them use.
Yeah, but like,
you understand?
What's your line? What's your line?
Well, I mean, yeah, that gap the bigger on the one where they are the train station, them, you know, where you hear it announced over the system, mind the gap, you know. That gap the wider than that.
You're not ordinary father,
What's this one? And I'm speaking as it relates to Big Mama, all right, station. And any person, you understand, want to shoot the narrative in terms of, you understand, trying to put, right? I don't know what they're trying to do in terms of Isaac Buchanan with Dalrymple, because one of the first things, when Isaac fell in that mess, right? Isaac was about 17, 18 years of age.
Yeah, juvenile. It wasn't adult.
Exactly. So when you look on you know, some of that situation that may cause Isaac Buchanan to fall in that. You can utilize it as it relates to youthful exuberance. Now,
Right. That's the word for it.
Yeah, we can look on Dalrymple, who is number one. Dalrymple is a legislator. You understand? Remember, you know, Isaac Buchanan wasn't a liar, right?
No.
He was a youth, right?
Right.
And full of youthful exuberance. Now, Dalrymple, as what being said, Dalrymple supposed to lose all of our eggs them already.
All of them she lose.
No, watch this now. Not only that, but she's a legislator.
Right.
Officer of the court.
She's a legislator, number one. Number two, being the speaker of the house, right? And so then she's supposed to carry a very high bar than Isaac Buchanan. A high bar. Because she's in a position of leadership. Isaac Buchanan wasn't in a position of leadership.
Right.
So for big mama, them done, you know. We can't say no more than them just really done. And them,
man.
They're like political. You understand? Living mess in them head. They really does. Because watch this now. For Dalrymple did what she had done, it simply means that Dalrymple actions are deliberate. Her actions are deliberate.
Yeah.
Totally. So then when you look at that, you understand, for someone who sits in leadership role, right, that is corrupted to the core. You understand?
False declaration.
One thing I have to say, you know. I want Richard Clark appoint Isaac as a lawyer to deal with the Dalrymple saga with them land.
Yeah.
Them father dead left land because I know I'm gonna get result because the rest of them compromise a case there. Because they were friends with Dalrymple.
Yeah.
So it was only wasting the money. Now you have a real lawyer, Richard Clark. Go for Isaac.
All right.
Make him deal with Dalrymple. You will get justice finally because remember, you know, him show himself and him show him worth. Him got a privy council and him successful. So them little squabble lawyer where you have a Jamaica where them a pat a cat, friend and rat bat together. Them can't manage Isaac. Isaac are the right lawyer now to deal with Dalrymple for that theft that property there for over 40 years. The same property down a Barnett Street. Come on.
But
and I mean the whole Jamaica now need to stand in solidarity with the Clark family and ramp up the heat and the pressure on the Dalrymple. She's a criminal. She's an outlawed bandit.
She breached 43, section 43 of the IC Act, you know. When she files a false statutory declaration for 5 or 6 years with the vehicle. Willingly, you have to prove intent. In a court like that now, you have to prove that she intended to do it. And the fact that she took the car for service over those 5-6 years, and then I found out that each month they have to pay, submit the mileage that them drive because it's a concession. She knew she owned the car. She's the rightful owner. So it's easy to prove intent that she misled the IC and filed false statutory declaration, which is a breach of section 43 of the IC Act. That's why they refer her for prosecution, because it comes with the consequences of penalty of payment in a fine or prison time. So she's a criminal, and if she get off of these 8 charges, man, I don't know.
But justice system. One of the things where I need to point out as it relates to that you just spoke about, right? In terms of proving the crime, right? 2 things committed there, which is mens rea and actus reus.
Right.
Mens rea that goes to intent, and actus reus that she carried out the action. You understand, and complete the intent. Right. So, and you have them both established as it relates to the intent and the action that she carried out.
Right.
Right? And then she blatantly lied. You understand? Why would she lie? You understand? So that again prove intent, and to the fact that she told a lie, again, you understand, she carried out the action. So
Right.
Yeah, and one more thing. She even tried to shove the blame as it relates to who appear for the car, say our brother-in-law. But you can't take concession from government for your brother-in-law. Your brother-in-law is not a parliamentarian. So everywhere she turn, she get jammed.
Exactly.
Remember, say something to you.
Yeah.
So anyone I know, when buy a 2024 now, and you buy a brand new vehicle, and then you go back to you buy a brand new vehicle now, and then you go back for your 2010 vehicle and drive it, and forget say Benz to a matter of fact in a Benz in Jamaica.
Yeah.
You mean big thing.
Prestige vehicle that.
Yes, and you buy a Benz, and you have all dirty thinking back for where John Joe, and I drive that, but and you
Maybe all the shots them wear out of that too.
A brand new Benz you buy, and then you buy this year, but buy down the year when you declare something you forgot it, you don't know about it, you know what? But like I insurance in your name, and you have to pay it in each year, and you still forgot it, and you leave it off every year, and you leave it the same way, and you collect it, you get 1.6 million in a concession now in a space,
right?
And you collect it.
Intentionally lied.
If Saga can't forget 31 million, why Dalrymple can't get forget?
Well, enough one.
Yeah. Well, you see, it lead back to what we said earlier out Byron. The whole of them work off of the blueprint in the JLP. Them a thief.
Yeah.
Them a thief and liar, man.
You get $31 million. Dalrymple have to get fair too. That's the thing work.
And when she see Andrea go on with, she say, well, you want now my time for just reap a little piece of the fruit. Man, I go take the big fruit like what the Prime Minister take.
I follow him to prison because film days are numbered. Even at the last days of his political career.
Then, but all of them know that, Ricky. Pastor Ricky, all of them know say Andrew Wallace in his last day as a civilian. Him soon to become a prisoner.
Did I hear you read a show to him say, yo, Andrew, I'm going to let me go because remember say how you train me.
I hear Andrew Wallace now. And that's why I'm training because I want you come with me.
Well. She might be do I want to continue. Let me say something to Andrew though. Let me say something to the Labour Party though. Because you can't have one thing we do, in that big bit of pride, you step away. You are hanging on, so you rather kill the whole party. Can now come back, so
Right.
200 years, Willie Lynch, you see thing Willie Lynch about 600 years now come back. Are you kill it in Andrew? You are kill the party because you are hanging on. Try. You hang on, you fight Ardisha, you have fight against Tufton, because they give him a letter, and Tufton are better smarter than you. Tufton, he drive card about the money. Me look on the amount of money and the big house and the thing, the man. Me I say, Tufton, you better smarter than him, And when I say this now, they may fight against Tufton, because I know I say them stay, because me attack it, So they may say, we'll fight him, Tufton. Me I endorse, so they may fight him.
No, them not no strength to fight Tufton. The whole of them weak and pathetic. Them not no strength. Them not no inner core now for fight Tufton. I remember, when the Jamaica electorate should have known from long time, Even the leadership party, Andrew Rabbit up a national arena, We swear go on. We have it live in front of we. Him rob that from Manor Yard.
But
him rob it.
Him come to the leadership on a false pretense, fraudulent, when them steal the election the leadership from Ardisha. Him start off on a wrong foot.
Exactly.
Yes.
Up on criminal act that propel him to become the leader of the party.
Exactly.
And then he use the
right.
He use the that put out Tufton, I'm sure. Tufton, I'm just remind you because I don't want to remind you because now them have you. Because them also the one man in the wilderness, we see them attack for you,
Fire bond all of them, man. Judgment on all.
No, we have to this now. It's a Tufton now.
criminals, the whole of them.
Yeah, man.
Well, we'll put up Tufton because this is what
148 thieves.
Tufton, make them know say when people not so bright, you know. Chuck, man, we look on Chuck. Look at Chuck.
Yeah.
Chuck. So Tufton, make them know. Look on this. Look on this now. This is how I'm do Tufton. So when we go talk about Tufton.
In news from Jamaica, leader of the opposition, Andrew Holness, has lost his attempt to overturn the decision by the Constitutional Court handed down.
He can't last some attempt and go court all the while. I never win him.
Him not a winner, he's a
The court
loser.
ruled that Mr. Holness was wrong in using undated pre-signed resignation letters to remove Dr. Christopher Tufton and Arthur Williams from the Senate in November 2013. The Constitutional Court said Holness's actions were unlawful, contrary to public policy, and in breach of the Constitution. It had also declared null and void the resignations of Williams, who took the issue to court, and his colleague, Tufton. Mr. Holness has since issued a statement via his media liaison officer, Sharon Hay Webster.
Leader of the opposition, Mr. Andrew Holness, has issued a statement.
I don't know if you ever seen, you know, because of them did carry in them time, yeah. Go and call about dual citizenship, you know. And she, them carry and said, the PMP for back, and them say, if you did that, you should have give it up. She walk on over there and them use her like, she a water girl too, you know.
Yeah.
She a not, man. She a garbage, man. A garbage that.
Them gonna get George and some pest.
Rising from the decision of the Court of Appeal today. He says as follows: the recent ruling of the Constitutional Court gave rise to a public controversy. As a consequence, I sought the advice of a team of highly qualified lawyers experienced in constitutional and parliamentary matters. As a result of their advice and the need to bring clarity to the issues at hand, I filed an appeal. The Court of Appeal, having now handed down its decision, closure has been brought to the legal issues. This will now enable the party to focus its full attention on the business of the people.
Lawyers for Holness had argued in the appeals court that Williams used the wrong procedure to initiate the court action against the opposition leader. Now that this matter has been resolved at the appellate level, is there anywhere else to go with the matter? We posed the question to attorney at law Bert Samuels.
Well, the Constitution of Jamaica, as regards the seats occupied by senators or members of parliament in general, provides that action will stop at the Court of Appeal. We can't go any further than the Court of Appeal in terms of who sits in what seat. However, there's only one way out. If your constitutional rights are abused or denied, you can go to the Privy Council. So strictly speaking, very strictly speaking, save and except for constitutional challenges, it must end at the Court of Appeal.
Now, the opposition spokesman on justice, Delroy Chuck, who has voiced strong opposition to the party leader's decision to appeal the Constitutional Court's ruling, resigned from his position on Wednesday. Mr. Samuels, who states that he agrees with Delroy Chuck's resignation following the ruling, also says he is in support of calls by Arthur Williams and Delroy Chuck for the leader of the opposition to resign.
So you see it? So the leader of to Christopher Tufton said for resign. And then right, Chuck. What I will be on him and will come from in my ear too, you know.
Garbage that, man. The garbage truck that.
So we have them.
That's a garbage truck, lonesome.
So right in my fight then Christopher Tufton, we know that. And Tufton, you notice Tufton answer them answer on go Andrew Holness store. And none of them. You see him say anything? So Andrew fight him now. Don't talk so now. Watch a fight.
Andrew say I watch him now turn him back to them because I'm afraid I'm gonna stab him in him back like Judas.
Hey, but panel, when you look for all of the legal case where Andrew Holness can't go court, him not win none yet, you know. Him lose it. Him lose with the parliamentarian. Him lose the constitution. And him gonna lose against in IC. So you know, say, yes, so you know directly, say, the next step for Andrew Holness is prison. People in can't miss prison.
He use the state of emergency.
Right.
He lose them, you know. Because that pay illegal thing him a do.
Exactly.
Him not
And
read
this
the
is
Constitution. Him not know
hey,
the Constitution.
him
And
no
the
know
law.
not about running a country. Him no know not about parliamentary and rules and regulation and administration that goes along with it. This man is a garbage by design. You understand? This man has done so much wrong. It's unbelievable.
Now put him in the garbage truck with Trump, what Trump a drive around in.
He been there already, man.
Robin man.
But him have one for himself where, you know, that one here Delray truck one. The garbage truck where Andrew Holness in a down there Delray truck one, you know. Them know them one of them from over 30 years.
Yeah, I'm not go so like him lie there right. You know, survive the one of him thing.
But we know that. Because when they do the maths, you know, him can't know Andrew from over 30 years. Because over 30 years can be 39, you know.
Yeah, and then the man just 13. I mean, like,
okay.
Christopher Tufton should never have apologized to Andrew when him write the letter for pre-resignation. And then him come back to the parliament and apologize for somebody that tried to do him wrong. I mean, to me, that shows signs of weakness.
Weakness, yes.
Yeah, superior over you. Tufton should have never apologized. That was a huge mistake.
Yeah. I apologize to Andrew, and I am with the case. Him apologize to him.
Yeah,
in the earlier inception. And it's like the apology was all about like the disrepute.
See, Chuck, you know, looking at the garbage bin, you can't see that bin.
I know he's a father once.
Just in that bin, see bin there, you know.
Yeah.
Just for this behind that,
They been having a whole heap of money in there, them people have a whole heap of loot, you know. That mean they well stocked with currency.
I'm alone mattress behind number 13, you know. Yes. And say athlete foot there. But Big Mama for everywhere. You look over the make out Big Mama in that post there.
Of course. Hey, but right now, you know, lonesome from here, it's a garbage truck around the island of Jamaica, the most expensive garbage truck, this, you know, where they're on the back then up and a small amount asset they're on the back there, you know.
If it was legal money, you say it's expensive. But
well, there you go.
They make garbage, brother. See, I'll chuck it
there you go.
Where you carry them? Riverton dump? Where you carry them?
Well, Uncle Lonesome can't tell you where that truck the bound fine, but I don't think a Riverton. That truck that look like it bound for prison. That truck that look like it bound for a prison dump.
Farm, I've got to put early for your morning, so.
Yeah, you know, our time now, man.
Well,
yeah,
man.
Our time now. So people want to know, say, until next week, can I be a fire? Where say a fire? No, where say, to them that normal, where I send them a prison, yeah?
Yeah, that truck, that garbage truck that look like it bound for prison at Riverton.
Family and family.
Yeah, man. Blessings and enough respect.
TITANS! No two way about it. 1 a.m.
Start packing because you are going.